neither he nor the Justice Minister had been informed about that warrant. The warrant was later put on hold by the NPA's investigating Directorate Against Corruption, allegedly because of Khumalo's involvement in security preparations ahead of the June 30 demonstrations. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi reports.
Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says if senior officers such as Crime Intelligence Head Dumsani Khumalo or KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi are to be arrested, he should be informed. Mkhwanazi was reportedly also the subject of an intended arrest, claims later denied by IDAC. Kachalia says he's deeply concerned by the way the saga has unfolded, especially because it involves some of the country's most senior police officials.
It was important for IDAC, if they were going to take that action, to inform me, and certainly to inform the Minister of Justice as well, or she could have informed me if they informed her. So I didn't receive that news happily, that they were about to arrest these two senior police officers.
Kachalia says while the executive should have been kept in the loop, no police officer, regardless of rank, should be shielded from accountability. The details of IDAC's case against Khumalo remain unclear. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News in Johannesburg.
The Johannesburg Regional Court has heard that the wife of self-proclaimed political fixer Brown Mokgotsi is now facing a charge of intimidation. It's understood Dorothy Lekhwaba allegedly went to a neighbor's house to coerce her into making a false statement regarding Mokgotsi's address. Mokgotsi was initially denied bail after the court found he had misled investigating officers about his residential address. He is facing charges including perjury, defeating the ends of justice and the unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. Dimakatso Leshoro reports.
In an affidavit by investigating officer Lieutenant Colonel Alfred Warendal, the neighbor Thandiwe Sonokwane alleged that Mokgotsi's wife Dorothy Lekhwaba instructed her to provide another statement claiming that her house number was the same as Lekhwaba's. According to the affidavit, she told investigators that she felt intimidated, alleging that this was the third occasion on which Lekhwaba had visited her and pressured her to make a false statement. A case of intimidation was opened a day after Mokgotsi was denied bail. In affidavits before the court, investigating officers Lieutenant Colonel Warendal and Lieutenant Colonel Nontobeko Mzizi rejected claims by Mokgotsi that police ignored information that allegedly confirmed his residential address. Mokgotsi claimed that Thandiwe's son Maxwell Sonokwane pointed officers to his home and informed them that he lived 3 houses away from where police were conducting interviews. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News to the Johannesburg Regional Court.
The IEC says the total number of registered voters in South Africa has increased to 28.5 million following a successful voter registration weekend. The Commission says South Africans turned out in large numbers, resulting in a notable increase in youth participation. In a briefing this afternoon, the Commission's Sai Mamabolo says the voter registration campaign saw the voters' roll grow by 2.9 million registrations. He says the latest figures demonstrate continued growth in voter participation and suggest increasing public interest in the upcoming local government elections.
The increase in the voters' roll is attributable to, amongst others, the efficiencies introduced by voter management devices, which have significantly enhanced the speed of processing voter registration applications, as well as the convenience of the online registration portal.
Well, gold is trading at $4,197.89 an ounce. The rand is at 16.41 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.81 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.24 a barrel.
In Parktown, slow-moving traffic on the M1 southbound between Killarney Benz and Jan Smuts Avenue, while in Boksburg, traffic remains sluggish on the N17 westbound between Rondebolt and Osborne due to ongoing roadworks.
In your sport, Mohamed Salah inspires Egypt as they claim a historic World Cup win. Marazan Cup stars as South Africa edge India at the T20 World Cup. And the Swiss government throws their weight behind a 2038 Olympic bid.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 16 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the chairperson of Parliament's Impeachment Committee has now filed his affidavit with the Western Cape High Court to oppose the president's attempt to interdict proceedings against him.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Monday, the 22nd of June. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. Why would the WhatsApp timeline of a medical services professional include videos of cocaine for sale? Medicare 24 CEO Mike van Wyk was not at the Madlanga Commission today. His legal counsel said he had been hospitalized after panic attacks. But his presence has been in evidence throughout the day in messages, voice notes and videos presented by evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson.
Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine's not working so lekker. I don't know if it's because it's hard. I'm not sure what it's doing. Anyway, I have another one here. Let's put this one here and try this one. Oh, it's also hard. We're going to spend this money now. Please tell me where we're going. Have a lucky day.
Alpha Rambashwana is watching proceedings. He joins us at 10 to 5. Might we see an end to the youth apathy that has characterized so many of our elections? The Independent Electoral Commission has released details from this weekend's voter registration drive. They're optimistic that more and more younger people are registering to vote. More on that with the IEC after 4. And in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has confirmed what many had been predicting.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
Our correspondent Peter Anderson has some insights into why Keir Starmer had to go. He's with us at 10 to 4. We'll get an update on shootings at the Nickelway Mall in Joburg. And we'll end the show as we always do with some music. Who's your favorite artist who can both act and sing? It's Lady Gaga for a start. Brilliant stuff there from A Star Is Born. We'll take your suggestions immediately on 072 702 1702. On the markets today, some good news around the oil price and the JSE. The oil shares up by 130 points, with the resources index doing particularly well, stronger by 2.6%. The gold price is up by $49 an ounce. The price of platinum has gained $21.70. That's driven Sibanye up by 4.1%. Anglo Gold is better by 4%. Implats has gained 3.7%. On the downside, again linked to the oil price, Thungela has lost 5.2%, Exxaro weaker by 3.7%, and Mondi has lost 2.7%. Rand's trading at 16 Rand and 41 cents against the dollar. A euro will cost you 18 Rand 80, and 21 Rand 74 will get you a pound. Oil price down, as I said, by $1.50 $1.58, with Brent crude currently trading at $79.05 a barrel. Stephen Critters joins us with all the market news at 4:25. We'll get sport with Tolakele Mganga, and Karabo Chali is with us with the latest traffic news. And Bali Dlamini back at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live, and whatever's happening in 702 land, i.e. anywhere, if it's important, you will hear it here first. But there is stuff, as I always say, that you get to hear about before us. There are details on stories we're covering that we might have missed, and if we have, as I often say, got the wrong end of the shtick, please do get in touch with us on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. This is 702 Drive, 13 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
But let's start off just by taking a look at this. Jonathan Fairbairn, a very good afternoon to you. If someone pulls a gun on a colleague, even if both of them are cops, there ought to be a pretty good reason for it. But this is the United States, so perhaps the reason may not have been as obvious. Tell me what you found on the internet, where one can find almost anything.
Yeah, afternoon, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. So it was I think it took place in South Carolina and at a police department, and there was a detective who was very unhappy with what he was smelling around lunchtime. And one of the other patrolmen had gone to the shared kind of, canteen area and decided to warm up the previous night's fish.
Yes.
In the microwave, and obviously there would have been a smell that was left over. So this detective went to confront him about the smell, and he ended up pulling his gun on his colleague.
So just quickly, who pulled the gun? The fish eater or the furious guy?
The furious guy,
Okay,
the detective who doesn't like the smell of leftover fish. So I think he's been let go, and obviously there's charges, etc., etc. But yeah, I mean, shared canteens and different people's foods and the smells and etiquettes and whether you clean up after yourself, it's a thing.
So should you, Karabo Charlie, be allowed to put fish in the microwave if it's a shared facility?
I do it all the time.
Well. Funny that you mentioned that.
Lucky none of us are packing.
Gee, I should stop, clearly. Thanks for the hint, Jono. I'll stop doing that. My Skaftin,
he made this up.
Yeah,
this
he
thing
totally
never
made
happened.
it.
It's his way of telling you.
I've got a story about Karabo, but I'll wait till you finish.
Yeah,
Enough with the
pill
hate
shots,
fillets.
Lucky Star, I love it in my Skaftin, and I always warm it up once a week, I think. I guess I'll have to stop. But yeah, coming to etiquette, my son never closes the microwave. He'll warm up his 2-minute noodles or whatever, and then he'll just leave it like that, and also leave things just lying in the kitchen, and it just drives us mad.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't pull out a gun for him.
Well, he's a kid. But in the workplace, you are a collective of adults. So.
Yeah.
What should be the rules in a shared kitchen? We focus particularly in on the microwave, and you may want to focus in on that yourself. But give us your thoughts on what kind of stuff ought to be understood and shared practice. And you know what? I shouldn't even have to bring this up, is the way sometimes people feel. Give us either an anecdote of something that's happened in the place where you work or the guidelines that you want to put down.
So the story I was going to tell you, it was this past Friday.
Yes.
Rafu and I are sitting in the producer's booth, which is, a nice little, supposed to be a non-eating zone for the producers and the news people that come and do the news. And, I mean, we smelt something and we were like, oh, what's that? It smells interesting. I couldn't really figure out what it was, but it did spark my interest. I thought it smelled quite nice. And then another colleague walked in. I won't mention the name. He was like, what's that smell?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that smell? And then I asked Krabs, what's he eating? And he was like, oh, no, it's Lucky Star pilchards. So for about 2 hours after he had devoured his lunch, that whole area smelled like Lucky Star pilchards.
Okay, so Lucky Star pilchards getting a bad press here, but there may be other foods as well that you think should be brought with a degree of caution to a shared kitchen space at work. Your stories, please, on 072 702 1702. 17 minutes past 3. Let's just catch up with what's happening in the traffic. Start of a new week.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not going to be too bad today. But Karabo, what's happened so far?
Must say, off to a good start, John. No major delays have been reported and no serious accidents on our highways at this stage. But we still have those roadworks in the Boksburg area heading towards Germiston, slowing down traffic a bit. This is on the N17 westbound between Rondebolt and Osborne. There's also traffic lights not working still in Midrand at Lever and Olifantsfontein Road. Bryanston traffic lights still not working at Main and Sloane, as well as in Fourways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Casino Boulevard. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why do you believe, as the EFF, that this is an irrational path that the Speaker has taken?
I've read that report, Clement. There's not a single word of abide in that entire opinion.
Well, she says there were two legal opinions. One said abide and the other said oppose.
No, the one that said abide is the one of the impeachment committee. So the impeachment committee sought legal advice. And it came up with two options. You either abide or you oppose. And the committee took a resolution that we are opposing. So the Speaker cannot use the report of the impeachment committee as if it's her report.
Umpile Mautu is the EFF Treasurer General.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
If you've got a small dog, you'll know they live big lives. But did you know that smaller dogs have unique needs and can benefit from eating a food specially tailored to these needs? That's why Hills Pet Nutrition has developed expert science-backed nutrition to help small dogs live their best lives. Whether for overall well-being or to address a specific health issue, there's a Hills food for your dog. Hills is available at your vet, pet specialty store or online. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more.
That's Liesel, before she got naked. Liesel checked her insurance premium and got angrier than the time a teenager called her Tunny. So Liesel got naked and got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds, all on the Naked app. There we go, Liesel. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle, choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za. 702 and Corporates That Care caught up with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa about how they're reconnecting communities through safe, reliable, and affordable rail transport.
When you talk about the scholars, pensioners, youth, any customer, one of the key things we focus on is customers must feel safe in the environment. So you find not only securitization of our assets, but also our customers, securing them, making them feel safe. We've got security on the trains. It's got the CCTV cameras on the trains, our stations. So the environment we need to look at, and that is critical. Part of our secondary mandate, Ongani, is also to generate revenue of our assets. We own significant property, land, but also other assets like fiber.
Visit prasa.com to learn more about their services, projects, and community initiatives. Corporates That Care with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa on 702. Let's walk the talk. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention now on the court, specifically political fixer Brown Mokgotzi's application to get bail. This has been going on for quite a while now. It appears more stumbling blocks in the way of Mr. Mokgotzi today. But let's get the latest from Dimakatso Leshoro, EWN reporter, who's been watching things very, very closely indeed. Dimakatso, very good afternoon to you. What's come up today and where does Mr. Mokgotzi stand in his bid to get bail? Good afternoon. Oh, okay, sorry. That's me getting confused. We're going to be talking to Dima Katso in a moment. Lindsay Dentlinger is probably feeling like that gentleman who ended up in famous circumstances on the BBC where somebody thought he was somebody else. Lindsay, a very good afternoon to you. Brown Mokhotsi later. President Cyril Ramaphosa, Phala and the Parliamentary Committee getting involved now in opposing his attempt at an interdict. Just refresh us as to where we are now. I understand there are now papers from Parliament before the court.
Good afternoon, John. Well, there are essentially now, just in the last few minutes, two sets of papers before the court. The first of those comes from the Impeachment Committee chairperson, Makashule Ghana. You will recall last week, the Impeachment Committee decided to oppose that interdict application from the president, who is seeking to halt the work of that committee until such time as the court has heard the review application of the report that has given rise to these impeachment proceedings. And then also, just a short while ago, I've learned that the Speaker has also filed her response to the court. Her decision on Friday was to abide by whatever ruling the court may make. But in the first of those instances, John, the chairperson of the committee really saying he's only challenging this interdict on legal grounds. And the upshot of that really saying that he believes that the president's challenge of that report is legally moot, that too much time has elapsed. The Constitutional Court has already referred that report to the Impeachment Committee, and so they are thus duty-bound to carry out that Constitutional Court order and begin its work, essentially, to hold the president accountable for those events that unfolded following the theft of money from his farm, Phala back in 2020.
Some people will be puzzled as to why the split between the Speaker and Mr. Ghana in his role as chair. I mean, are they making different points?
I was hoping to have an answer to you for that, but I've only just started reading what the Speaker is saying. But in the main, because there have been concerns expressed about whether a committee of Parliament actually has legal standing to defend any kind of application in court. We know that it is usually the Speaker who does that on behalf of Parliament. But it seems that the Speaker has really adopted a wait-and-see approach. She waited to see what the committee would decide, subsequently deciding to oppose. And in the parts of the paper that I have managed to read so far, John, she says that she's got to allow this committee the latitude to do their work. And therefore, she also doesn't believe that her position is contradictory in any way or at odds with what the committee is doing. Each of them have their roles and responsibilities and their mandate to carry out, and therefore her decision to abide with whatever ruling the court may make and to allow the committee the space to take their decisions independently and to defend what they believe to be their constitutional rights and their mandate to carry out in this particular process of a Section 89 inquiry.
Thanks very much, Lindsay Dentlinger, and apologies again for assuming you were on a completely different story and asking you a question that I'm sure to you made absolutely no sense. 26 minutes past 3.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
There's growing anxiety about the planned demonstrations set for the 30th of June. What if things go wrong? And have the perceptions about the impact of migrants been properly tested?
The fact of the matter is we have lots of undocumented immigrants in South Africa.
How concerned are you in terms of the loss of control by the state on this issue?
Repatriating illegal immigrants is not a solution.
We can't deport our way out of this, can we?
Absolutely not. You have to go to the root cause.
What can South Africa do?
Some significant, difficult political decisions must be made. Pressure must be brought to bear. Sanctions needs to be part of the package in order to pressurize governments.
I wonder if we haven't been complicit by having this kid glove approach. Dr. Oscar van Heerden.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
A tectonic shift in world rugby is coming. 12 nations, 2 groups, one defining rivalry. And in the biggest game of the year, England come to Ellis Park to take on the mighty Springboks on July the 4th. Expect fireworks as the Red Roses travel to the Highveld. The Nations Championship is where hemispheres collide. Get your tickets now, only from Ticketmaster.
We at Monument Dental are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium when you switch? For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance business insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
There's so much health information out there, but how do you know what to trust? Catch the Clement Manyatela show tomorrow from 9 a.m. for Health Matters by Cipla Africa. Well, we'll be unpacking important health conversations designed to help you better understand your body and well-being. Health Matters by Cipla Africa is a trusted hub bringing you expert-led health conversations you can trust. Then head to the Prime Media Plus app or primemediaplus.com. Scroll to Prime Media Highlights and watch the latest Health Matters video featuring leading experts and thought-provoking conversations. Or WhatsApp the keyword health to 072 702 1702 and we will send you the link to all this content.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Right, let's get back to that story our false started on. Dimakatso Lishoro is closely watching the court where Brown Mokgotsi is trying to get bail. It seems he's continuing to hit some challenges. Dimakatso, very good afternoon to you. Where do we stand at the moment? What does the court appear to be saying?
Hi, John. So it's the last few minutes of court today have been a bit of a circus where Mokgotsi's attorneys were struggling to provide a proof of address. Remember, they brought this application stating that they've got new facts regarding the address. If you recall, initially the bail was denied because he had provided 3 addresses which were proved to be false or could not be verified. This time they had statements from neighbors who claimed that police ignored information that they had provided regarding this address. But it turns out that one of the neighbors was actually allegedly coerced by Mokgotsi's wife, and she then went and opened a case of intimidation that Mokgotsi's wife is forcing her to make a statement stating that indeed Mokhotsi lived at the address that he claims to live in. So they then brought a statement, an invoice from a company that allegedly provides Wi-Fi for the family, but shockingly, they could not provide statements up until the current month or previous month. They provided statements up until December 2025,
right,
when the magistrate required and asked them, where's the rest of the statement? That's where the chaos was. We saw the advocates, the lawyers going back and forth with Mokhotsi, trying to get bank statements. The court was adjourned for them to get these statements. It turned out, just before I left the court, that they don't have any of those statements. So as things stand, they don't have any new information, it seems, and now the case has been postponed to the 29th of June for judgment on this. I must say the magistrate was really getting frustrated because she wasn't getting an outright answer to her question regarding the proof of address and the reason why we are all here. What they claim to be new facts doesn't seem to exist at this point.
Thank you very much. Boy, what a matter. And it certainly is taking some twists and turns, hitting some potholes, and there appears to be a long road ahead. Dimakatso Lishoro keeping an eye on what's happening with Brown Mokgotsi's bail application. Yet another issue flowing out of the Madlanga Commission. It's 29 minutes to 4. The very latest eyewitness news now. Let's say good afternoon once again to Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Gauteng police are searching for suspects who fled from a hijacked vehicle at Nickelway Shopping Centre in Bryanston this afternoon. Police say the suspects fled after highway patrol members gave chase to a vehicle known to be hijacked. The police managed to arrest one of the suspects and also seized the hijacked vehicle, as well as signal jammers found inside the car. Spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuhulwi says investigations are continuing.
The vehicle stopped at the shopping centre and about 5 occupants came out and fled on foot on different directions. The police managed to arrest one of the suspects and seize the hijacked vehicle.
Media personality Mulemo Jubjub Marohanye insists that the state's assault case against him is weak. He returned to the Germiston Magistrates Court, where his case was postponed to the 24th of August. He was arrested earlier this month and initially charged with kidnapping, discharging a firearm and pointing an object believed to be a gun, following an alleged confrontation with an e-hailing driver in Edenville. Marohanye says the state's decision to abandon the kidnapping charge proves that investigators do not have a strong case against him. Mongezi Gogo wasn't caught.
Jubjub Marohanye now faces charges of discharging a firearm in a public place and pointing a firearm or an object resembling a firearm. During today's proceedings, the state indicated it intends relying on Marohanye's previous conviction in an attempt to have the matter treated as a Schedule 5 offence. Jubjub previously served a prison sentence after he was convicted of culpable homicide over a 2010 drag racing crash that claimed the lives of 4 schoolboys. But the media personality has denied he ever possessed a firearm and maintains that the collapse of the kidnapping charge demonstrates the weakness of the state's case.
God is there and the truth shall prevail. You didn't discharge a firearm at all? There's no God.
The 5,000 rand bail granted to Marohanye remains in place as the state continues with its investigation. Mongezi Gogo, Eyewitness News, Germiston.
The DA is confident it will retain its power in Cape Town while gaining control of 2 Gauteng metros in the upcoming local government elections. The DA says it's looking to take control of the Joburg and Tshwane metros, which are currently governed through coalitions led by mayors from the ANC and Action SA respectively. The party made the vow during this weekend's voter registration drive. Babalondenze reports.
The metros of Tshwane, Joburg and Cape Town are expected to be key battlegrounds as all parties target the swing vote and the undecided. While the city of Cape Town has been under a DA majority for 2 decades, the other metros have been struggling with coalitions since the last election. DA campaign manager Asho Sarapan said their internal polling shows that an outright win is feasible in Cape Town, despite the growth of parties like Action SA and the Patriotic Alliance.
We know from polling, marketing and market research that a majority of the citizens of Cape Town support us.
Sarapan says their campaign efforts will help the party's trajectory in 2 Gauteng metros.
In Johannesburg and Tshwane, we have identified enough unregistered voters on the ground over the last few months to lead us on a pathway to victory.
While some metros are considered ANC traditional strongholds like Buffalo City and Mangaung, the change in voter dynamics could count against the party at the November polls. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And in South Sudan, the National Election Commission has confirmed that polls will take place on the 22nd of December. The country's elections follow years of repeated delays and a dire security situation. According to reports, the commission has only been given $21 million of a proposed election budget of $250 million. AFP is reporting that international patience over the endless delays has worn thin, and should the country go ahead with the elections, the polls will be the first since South Sudan won independence in 2011. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 16 and 18 degrees.
Boksburg heading towards Germiston. Traffic remains sluggish on the N17 westbound between Rondebolt and Osborne due to ongoing roadworks. Tabatwani accident seen on Euphorus Road approaching the N14 causing some delays.
The top story in EWN, Gauteng police are searching for suspects who fled from a hijacked vehicle at Nickel Way Shopping Centre in Bryanston this afternoon.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What should be happening behind the scenes in anticipation?
My main attention would be to talk to these people organizing these marches. I've heard the organizers last week and the week before constantly saying, oh no, we will not use violence, we will just march. And there is this deadline and they must now leave. I would talk to them and warn them about the dangers so that they can get marshals to control those crowds.
Dr. Chris de Kock.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city will unite for the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. And tomorrow, Clement will be finding out how, by taking part in Walk the Talk, you can make a difference in the lives of the homeless in the city. He'll be doing his show from the MES shelter in Hillbrow, looking at the homeless issue and finding out how we can make a difference by donating vouchers to people experiencing homelessness, access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more. So join us and help make a difference to the homeless in the city. Listen to Clement tomorrow between 9 and 12, live from Hillbrow. And remember, you can enter Walk the Talk by going to Prime Media Plus. And when you enter, consider making a difference in the lives of the homeless. Babize bonke.
Johannesburg is calling. Join thousands of Joburgers on Sunday, 26 July for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Experience the energy and spirit of the City of Gold as you walk through the historic streets of Joburg CBD, celebrating a city on the rise. As an iconic brand deeply connected to Johannesburg, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's bringing communities together and showcasing the best of Josie. Starting and finishing at Ellis Park, this is more than a walk. It's a celebration of our city and its growth journey. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Just Andalex it.
Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city unites for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. And because Joburg is more than just a city, we'll be walking for the people. Babize bonke. So join us and help make a difference to homelessness in the city by entering on primemediaplus.com and donating vouchers.
Donate a voucher.
Which is a cashless way to give, helping people experiencing homelessness access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more support. Anybody can join and everybody can donate. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter and donate now on primemediaplus.com.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. It's Tutukania from Tembisa. I once worked at another company, and a colleague once said if you warm up peel charts in the microwave, don't close the microwave. You must let the microwave breathe. So, yeah.
Oh, cabbage, guys, cabbage. Not take cabbage to the office. Yeah, it smells like cabbage.
Hey, good afternoon, John. Sandy here from Orlando West. You know, I once warmed umuhodu. These are intestines. At work there, I'm in the microwave, which is opposite my boss's office. And then later, my boss came through by the workshop there when I was chatting with my colleagues, carrying this microwave, you know, seemingly angry in his face. And he puts it there and he just storms back into his office. You know, the supervisor follows him and he's like, hey, what happened there? And he's like, hey, Sangide warmed something, a dead animal there in the kitchen. You know, so when he came back there by the workshop, he told the guys and myself that, hey, what did I warm there in the kitchen? Because it's like a dead animal and something, and Justin is complaining. That's my boss. Hey, yeah, no, I caused havoc that day, John. Sharp, Uncle John.
I would have thought that anything that is warmed up that has meat in it involves dead animals, but I guess they were making a slightly different point. If it had gone to court, I think you could have defended yourself. But on the subject of tripe, no name to this, but this is a message in a similar vein. Tripe and trotters should be banned from the workplace. In fact, you shouldn't get a verbal or written warning. You should be fired on the spot. Yo, as they say, it's 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kelly, I know you're going to come to the story, but let me just say this. What an innings by Marizan Kapp. What a game of cricket. I mean, that was just fantastic.
Absolutely, John, and it's the perfect way to respond after there had been some doubts about the team. But we do start at the World Cup, where Mohamed Salah inspired Egypt to their first ever World Cup win as they came from a goal down to beat New Zealand 3-1 and boost their hopes of reaching the knockout stage. Egypt moved to the top of Group G with 4 points from their 2 matches. That's after Iran and Belgium played out a goalless draw in the other pool game.
We will remember for years to come. We were not lucky with this group to win Africa Cup, but we qualified to the final two times. Yeah, we were not lucky enough to win it because we lost also penalty. We just give it our best and we achieved something, I think, very difficult in history to happen for Egypt to be, hopefully, win next game and we'll be the first in the group. So we just enjoyed football and we'll give it all for our people.
Marizan Kapp's unbeaten 81 helped South Africa to a 6-wicket win over India as they maintain their bid for a semi-final spot at the T20 World Cup. With the ball, Kapp took 2 for 27 and then followed it up with a performance with the bat that helped South Africa pass their victory target of 159 with 5 balls to spare. The result sees the Proteas women join India on 4 points in Group A. That's behind unbeaten leaders Australia on 6.
Before this game, we had some success against them. But also in saying that, when you rock up to a World Cup, it takes one player to perform on the day and you can take the game away from a team. So we didn't walk in here thinking we were just going to walk over India. It's always tough playing a strong Indian team. And I mean, that game could have gone anyway today.
Siya Kolisi believes that South Africa are battle ready following their season opening 80-31 win over the Barbarians. That game featured 17 tries as Springbok management also added 5 new players into the mix. That's ahead of next month's inaugural Nations Championship.
A lot of the stuff that we wanted to get through, I think we did a lot of it. But also, when things didn't work well, when we went against the plan, we also got some lessons there. When the plan doesn't work or when you don't do the plan, like these are the things that happens to us as a team. So I obviously have to watch the game, but I already know like some of the mistakes or some of the fix-up we have to do as a team.
And Switzerland's government have formally backed a bid to host the Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games in 2038 as they cleared another hurdle for the Games to return to the Alpine country for the first time since 1948. Switzerland is the front runner to host the Games and has until the end of next year to ready its bid to the IOC. That's without competition from other countries. Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
16 minutes to 4. Let's get the very latest from out on the roads. Delays in Boksburg. What's causing them, Karabo?
Well, I must tell you, if you are heading towards Germiston, leaving the Boksburg-Brakpan area, traffic sluggish on the N17 westbound between Rondebolt and Osborne due to ongoing roadworks. We also have roadworks slowing down traffic in Zakaria Park. That's heading towards Lenasia on the Golden Highway between the R554 and Freedom Drive, while in Tabatswani. There's that accident scene on Euphius Road approaching the N14 causing heavy delays. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Joburg, in Marlborough at Marlborough Drive and Old Pretoria Road, as well as in Four Ways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Casino Boulevard. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's good to have you with us on the show. Coming up shortly, we're going to be going to the United Kingdom to get some insight into the resignation of that country's Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. We'll be talking to our correspondent, Peter Anderson, about that in a minute. By the way, if you did watch that fabulous cricket match, I'm keen to know, as I always am when the women's cricket team does as well as they do, whether cricket is really catching on amongst young girls and women in our schools in South Africa. Looking at the pictures from the stadium, I mean, just packed with young girls really, really enthralled at what they were seeing. I wonder if that's the case in South Africa. Call me on that on 072 702 1702.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So, Tola Kelly, we've been talking about do's and don'ts in shared kitchens. It all began with something Kabazela found on the internet where a cop, I think in South Carolina in the United States, objected to fellow officer heating up fish in the microwave and confronted him and, was waving a firearm. So clearly there may have been other issues besides the fish. But now we've got pilchards in the mix. We've got tripe and trotters on some people's minds. Do you have any views about, what are the absolute don'ts in regard to a shared kitchen space, if indeed there are any? I mean, apart from the obvious one, try as much as possible not to eat your colleague's food.
That's a very important one.
Yeah, it is actually.
I wouldn't say do's and don'ts because fortunately, everybody has their own preferred taste. I just personally don't like it when people microwave any sort of fish.
Yes.
Because the smell is very strong and it takes a while for people for the smell to just disappear from the kitchen. And I agree with the guy unfortunately, his boss kind of told him about mkhodu. It's a very specific smell. And it stays around for a long time. And then when you're sitting there 2 hours later and you're like, I'm so hungry. Even though you've had the biggest meal possible, because now you can't get the smell out of your head. Now it makes you want the food and now you can't have the food.
So that's an additional angle for a new rule, actually. You should not also microwave anything incredibly delicious, lest your colleagues feel tormented by the fact that you have a plate full and you have not been offered a little scuffed tin of your own. So, call us on that, please. 011 8830 702, 12 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So, real political turbulence in the United States. I beg your pardon, the United Kingdom, although it's fair to say I don't think this was particularly unexpected. Keir Starmer has stepped down as Prime Minister in the United Kingdom to get a sense of what brought this on and, crucially, what might happen next. We say welcome to our correspondent in the UK, Peter Anderson. Peter, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. I mean, as a complete outsider, this is 2 years after Keir Starmer leading Labour to a record win. What went wrong? I mean, I'm sure there's no short answer, but a summary if you can. Good afternoon.
John, good afternoon to you. Yes, it has been a spectacular turnaround. In fact, it's been slightly less than 2 years since Keir Starmer led the Labour Party to a landslide victory, one that many people said wouldn't happen in the UK's general election. He's been in power for 2 years. He has a huge mandate, a huge parliamentary majority. But when he steps aside, which could be in a matter of just a few weeks, he is set to be the shortest serving Prime Minister from the UK's Labour Party in its history. It has been a spectacular turnaround. And what is also significant, John, and it shows the turbulent nature of UK politics, whoever replaces him will be the UK's sixth Prime Minister in just 7 years.
Goodness.
The problems have been mounting. It is remarkable, isn't it? And the problems have been mounting for Keir Starmer. He has had poor approval ratings, not just for him, but also for the Labour Party. And many people have held him responsible for the poor showing of the party itself. He has suffered electoral defeats in Scottish and Welsh elections just a few weeks ago, also in by-elections. And he has had a succession of controversial decisions. There has been a row over defence spending. There have been some spectacular U-turns on policy, everything from welfare reforms to inheritance rules for farmers. And he was questioned on his judgment for appointing Peter Mandelson, who many people will know as the former ambassador to the US for here in the UK, but who was forced to resign because of his links to this has all mounted up and meant that Keir Starmer has lost credibility, he has lost his standing, and as you say, it was seen by many as just a matter of time. It was when, not if, he would have to step aside.
So Labour knows what it doesn't want. Do they know what they do want? Because it, again, my view from a distance, but they seem to be under pressure on all sorts of issues, some of which are structural and won't easily be fixed by a leadership change.
They are, and whoever takes over will have a tough tough job. We have a ruling party, as I said, that was elected with a huge mandate, a landslide success 2 years ago, but a party that is languishing and has been rubbished in the polls. It has been absolutely savaged, and anyone who takes over is going to have a real challenge to build momentum and build that support. I think it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We are expecting sort of the nominations for a new leader to open on the 9th of July, closing a week later. And Keir Starmer, when he stepped aside, said that he would expect a new party leader and therefore a new Prime Minister to be in place before September the 1st. We have the reality that if only one person stands for the job, and that at the moment is looking very likely in the shape of somebody called Andy Burnham, a former minister who has only just returned to the British Parliament, it wouldn't be a competition, it would be a coronation. And we could have a Prime Minister by mid-July, a new Prime Minister, if we don't have a lineup of people wanting the job, and Labour realises that they want just a smooth transition of power rather than more infighting and more damage being done in a very public way.
Peter, was Keir Starmer inept or unlucky?
I think it would be certainly cruel to say the former. Okay. He is seen by many people as being a politician of conviction. He has been unlucky, but I think there are two main problems. Firstly, he has made some very sort of questionable decisions, and they have been led to a series of U-turns, and therefore people have said that a lot of the problems have been own goals that he has committed rather than from a political opponents. The other thing I think for Keir Starmer that worked against him, politics shouldn't be about personality, but I think increasingly people are looking for big personalities. They're seeing the people who can play the PR game. Keir Starmer is not that kind of politician. He's a serious person. He's a barrister. He's a man of convictions. And I think there are some big characters in other political parties, not least Reform UK, which is a party that has done remarkably well in recent years at the local level. They have just a handful of politicians currently in the UK Parliament. And many people think that they are the next government in waiting. And I think Keir Starmer has seen Reform UK grow in popularity and being seen very much as the threat to the Labour leadership when they next have to compete a general election. But one thing, John, that was significant, Reform UK has done well in election after election after election until Andy Burnham, the man who is now seen as the successor to Keir Starmer, stood in a by-election just a few days ago. And in many people's views, he trounced Reform UK, and many on the Labour benches think, is this someone who can fight against Reform UK? Is this someone who can win people back round to the Labour Party and keep us in power? At the moment, that is something that many people think Keir Starmer couldn't do, but Andy Burnham, the former minister who has just returned to Parliament, is seen as a potential credible person who can keep Labour in power for much longer.
Any thoughts, Peter, obviously with our audience in mind, on how this might impact international relations? I mean, the UK, for all its internal difficulties, has taken up important positions, certainly staunchly behind Ukraine, alongside France, Germany and others in the war with Russia, and holding, it would seem, a fairly consistent line on the conflict in and around Iran. Does any of that shift, or does government continue as government irrespective of who's PM?
I think the UK stance on Ukraine has been particularly interesting because if you look back at recent years, the period that the conflict in Ukraine has been taking place, there has been very solid support for the Ukrainian leadership. There has been a lot of hostility towards Moscow, towards the Russian stance as a result of the invasion. And I don't think that will change. We've had staunch support for Ukraine from both the Labour Party, which is left of centre, from the Conservative Party, right of centre. And I think it would be a huge surprise if Andy Burnham changed the rules on Ukraine. I think we would expect to see him very much throwing his weight behind the Ukrainian politicians, behind Volodymyr Zelensky. I don't think that will change at all. I think Iran is less certain because the UK has been criticised by Donald Trump for not standing side by side with the Americans in the Iran conflict. And so I think that remains uncertain. And the other thing that I think, you talk about international affairs, the other thing that will be fascinating is if it is Andy Burnham as new Prime Minister, what will his stance be on the UK's relationship with the European Union? There has been talk within Labour circles in recent months about rebuilding bridges, getting closer to the European Union, following a decade after the vote to actually leave the EU. And so I think many people will be watching very carefully to see, will a change of leadership in the UK, in the Labour Party, mean that the UK seeks to have closer working and cultural and all other ties with the EU? And that will be contentious, that will be controversial, but it will be, I think, a very huge indicator about the stance that any new Prime Minister is wanting to take.
Thank you so much. Peter Anderson, a very comprehensive view of both the internal politics of the UK, then the implications for that of Prime Minister Keir Starmer stepping down, but very interesting insights as well as to what this might mean for international relations. 7:02 Drive, it's 3 minutes to 4.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Medicare 24 CEO Mike van Wyck's testimony at the Madlanga Commission has been postponed after his medical reports suggested that he's unwell. Van Wyck was meant to testify today about his links to alleged underworld figure Vusmuzi Kat Matlala. Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Chaskelson says they've agreed to proceed without him.
What the proposal is that we will use today for me to take the commission through the evidence bundle so that the inferences that we seek to draw and the evidence that we are concerned about is clear.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra wraps up its winter season under the baton of conductor Alexandra Arieke, joined by Rebecca Omodia on piano, who's hailed as an African classical music pioneer. This high-energy and exciting program includes masterworks by Saint-Saëns and Mendelssohn. It's not to be missed. Catch it at the Linda Auditorium on Thursday, 26 June at 7:30 p.m. Book your tickets at Quicket.
That's Kefense, before she got naked. Kefense's premium went up twice last year, and she was more confused than when her ex said, "I need to find myself," and then found somebody else. So Kefense got naked. She got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Good for you, Kefense. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
My name is Richard Sutton, and I'm the host of the podcast Shift Happens. This podcast is about you, about transformation, elevation, and becoming the best version of yourself. Each episode shares powerful, hard-won lessons from prominent South Africans who have faced doubt, change, and early failure and emerged transformed. Don't miss Shift Happens, the tools, insight, and skills to help you navigate the real realities of life. Now streaming on PrimeMediaPlus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
7:02 Drive coming up for the news at 4 in a moment. After 4, we'll be talking to the IEC about what this weekend's voter registration drive produced. My understanding is lots of younger people coming forward in good numbers, suggesting that this local government election might have a different flavour. At 10 to 5, we'll be talking about a really very interesting day indeed at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Alpha Ramoshwana is our guest for that. Stay with us.
This is EWN.
Police remain on high alert outside Nickelway Shopping Centre and no weapons allowed at June 30 anti-illegal migration protests. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Gauteng police are searching for suspects who fled from a hijacked vehicle at the Nickelway Shopping Centre in Bryanston this afternoon. Police say the suspects fled after highway patrol members gave chase to a car known to be hijacked. The police managed to arrest one of the suspects and also seized the hijacked vehicle, as well as signal jammers that was found inside the car. Spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuhulwi says police investigations are continuing.
The vehicle stopped at the shopping center and about 5 occupants came out and fled on foot on different directions. The police managed to arrest one of the suspects and seize the hijacked vehicle.
The police's top brass has issued a strong warning against the carrying of any kind of weapons during next week's planned anti-illegal migration demonstrations. Police briefed journalists today on the state of readiness for the June 30 marches. Anti-illegal migration groups have declared the day as a deadline for undocumented migrants to leave the country. Nat Joint's chairperson Tibelo Mosikidi says law enforcement will act swiftly against anyone found in possession of a weapon, including traditional ones.
Do not carry a weapon. That somebody next door will feel threatened if you are brandishing such a instrument. That will include a spear. A spear, you are marching. Why do you carry the spear while you are marching? Because we are not at war. Asa guys, Nopkiris, Shamboks.
Suspended EMPD chief Julius Mkhwanazi's relationship with controversial businessman Mike van Wyk has come under scrutiny at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. WhatsApp messages between the two were revealed at the commission, showing that Mkhwanazi authorized the installation of blue lights on van Wyk's vehicles. Van Wyk subsequently sent a video of the EMPD official in which he is seen using a stack of 100 Rand and 200 Rand banknotes as a fan. Van Wyk's evidence is being presented in his absence after his appearance was postponed due to claims that he suffers from a severe panic attack. Alfara Mushwana reports.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has seen several videos presented as evidence against controversial businessman Mike van Wyk. In one of the videos, which Van Wyk sent to alleged underworld figure Vusmuzi Kat Matlala, he's seen introducing EMPD top cop Julius Mkhwanazi to Matlala. In another video screened at the commission, Van Wyk is seen flaunting a stack of cash and asking Mkhwanazi to come up with ideas on how they could spend it together.
Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine's not working so lekker. I don't know if it's because it's hard. I'm not sure what it's doing. Anyway, I have another one here. Let's put this one here and try this one. Oh, it's also hard. I'm going to spend this fucking money now. Please tell me where we're going. Have a lucky day.
It's believed that this was Van Wyk's way of expressing gratitude to Mkhwanazi for helping him acquire police blue lights on his new bakkie. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The chairperson of Parliament's impeachment committee has now filed his affidavit with the Western Cape High Court to oppose the president's attempt to interdict proceedings against him. Makashule Gana says the work of the committee will continue until the case is heard next month. President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing impeachment over his conduct following the theft of thousands of US dollars from his Palapala farm in 2020. He now wants the committee to halt its work until the court has reviewed the independent panel report that has given rise to these proceedings. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Well, Parliament's impeachment committee last week decided to oppose the interdict application to suspend its work, Speaker Toko Didiza on Friday opted rather to abide by a court ruling. She says her decision is not at odds with that of the committee and reflects each of their roles and responsibilities. Opposition parties are, however, outraged by her decision, with the EFF labelling the move reckless, irrational and irresponsible. Similarly, the MK party says Didiza's decision risks weakening Parliament's constitutional duty to hold the executive accountable. Meanwhile, Impeachment Committee Chairperson Makashule Gana says the work of the committee won't be derailed.
The work of the committee continues and we will have a meeting on the 24th of June on Wednesday at 10 o'clock to consider the terms of reference and also the process of appointing evidence leaders.
The Speaker also has until the end of today to file her explanatory affidavit in support of her decision to abide. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And French dairy giant Danone has announced that it will acquire health-focused Australian dairy company, the Maid Group. According to reports, the company has a range of functional dairy brands, including gut health yogurts, as well as high-protein products. The financial details have not been disclosed, but according to AFP, a source says Danone will pay around $1.1 billion. Danone says the Maid Group had sales of more than €300 million in its fiscal year to June 2026, adding that the acquisition will increase its operating margins from the first year. While gold is trading at $4,202.77 an ounce, the rand is at 16.42 to the dollar, 21.74 to the pound, 18.77 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.24 a barrel.
In Alexandra, heading towards Germiston, traffic heavily backed up N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to the Kilulis interchange, while in Zakaria Park Road work slowing down traffic. On the Golden Highway, this is between the R554 and Freedom Drive, Tabatswani. There's that accident scene on Euphorus Road approaching the N14, causing some delays.
In your sport, Mohamed Salah inspires Egypt as they claim a historic World Cup win. Marazan Cup stars as South Africa edge India at the T20 World Cup. And the Swiss government throws their weight behind a 2038 Olympic bid.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 6 degrees, peaking at 17. Pretoria 6 and 20, and Vereeniging 5 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Gauteng police are searching for suspects who fled from a hijacked vehicle at the Nickelway shopping centre in Bryanston this afternoon.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes past 4 on 702 Drive. Welcome to the show. How's the start of your week been? Hope you had a good weekend. Hope Monday has been at the very least bearable, hopefully better than that. Tell us, if you like, if there was anything special that happened to you on the weekend. We always love to hear about successes and celebrations. You can send those to me on 072 702 1702. Independent Electoral Commission certainly feels the weekend was a success from their point of view. They were doing voter registration around the country. 2.9 million registration transactions in total. That doesn't necessarily mean those are new registrations, but there are people who, by engaging with the IEC, are indicating their intention to be involved in the local government elections in November. So checking on registration details, etc. All important, of course, in a local government election where you have to vote in a particular ward. We'll be talking to Masego Shiburi, Deputy CEO for Electoral Matters, shortly, just to get their take on things. Madlanga Commission, very, very interesting today. Alpha Ramushwana, as you may have heard in the news bulletin, giving us an update on that. He'll be contacting, we'll be talking to him at about 10 minutes to 5. We've been asking you about rules that ought to apply in shared kitchen spaces. A couple of you have had some interesting observations in that particular regard. And then I wanted to ask you this question. Do you think that medical aids really ought to introduce a new category of a new illness that has really become quite prevalent in South Africa? I was unaware of this condition until Justice Madlanga took his seat as chair of the commission. It's called Madlanga-litis, and it's quite extraordinary how many people who get subpoenaed for the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry turn up with doctor's notes, some of them more persuasive than others, and there have certainly been some that have been rejected absolutely out of hand. But I'm not sure if medical aid covers that as a specific condition, or do you need to provide more documentation? It certainly is something that is relatively new. 10 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. For me, whether you use a shared microwave or not, whether you need to warm up or not, but my policy is eggs and fish, all types of fish, are a complete no-no when coming to Skaftin. They will embarrass you badly. Kabelan, Pretoria.
Hi, John and the team. With regard to what is currently happening in the UK, if it was happening elsewhere in Africa, business strategists, market experts, financial experts would be reminding us about a lack of stability in the country and also a lack of investor confidence. But now we are convinced that that is how democracy works. I don't see democracy there. I only see instability. David in Parkwood.
Yeah, I mean, I get the point you're making. You could argue it both ways, that if the democratic process in that country is that the prime minister is chosen by the party that has the most seats, them forcing out someone they believe is ineffective is democracy at work. I mean, democracy does not always lead to stability. It can have precisely the opposite effect. As to whether investors and market commentators and other people should be then blowing the whistle on the United Kingdom as a potential investment destination, well, I don't know. What are the other fundamentals that have either prompted them to put their money in the UK or to keep it there, particularly if they're British companies? Yes, there's a double standard in the public marketplace of ideas. I get the point you're making, and I think that's true. But when people talk about investment concerns in a country like ours, for example, I don't think they're just looking at elections. They are also looking at electricity and water and transport and other kinds of fundamentals. So, yeah, a double standard, but I don't think for the reasons you're suggesting. My views. What are yours? Give us a call. 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Rudaport is a problem. I don't know if the delays are serious yet or just building up, but Karabo Chali is your man. He has the details. Good afternoon again.
Yeah, we have that accident scene in Rudaport on Ondekker. So this is near Collard Avenue, causing huge delays all the way from Westgate Mall. While in Alex, traffic heavily backed up N3 south from Marlborough Drive to the Kilulis interchange. In Boksburg, traffic remains sluggish heading towards Germiston. That's the N12 westbound between Rondebolt and Osborne due to roadworks. Zakaria Park roadworks also causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and Freedom Drive. And in Equestria, Pretoria, there's also heavy delays on Solomon Mahlangu between the N4 and Linwood Road due to an earlier accident. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
How challenging is it to be a KZN R&B artist, considering KZN is quite big with certain genres, and other genres musicians will be like, I need to move to Gauteng?
I think, it comes with its challenges, but I must say, like, the people from my home city really do support me. Although I haven't been booked out there yet. I haven't performed a show there yet. But
how KZN?
And I'm from Durban. Like, it's crazy. But it's going to happen soon.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yes, we're manifesting.
Contemporary R&B singer-songwriter Nanette.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Food Lovers Market. Their group executive, People and Sustainability, Andrew Milson, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Are you a legal practitioner looking to do your mediation course? Come and train in mediation with the Law Society of South Africa, the preferred leader in legal education with over 35 years of experience. We also offer advanced training, specialized skills development, and continuous legal education to ensure legal practitioners excel with competence and integrity. Stay ahead in your profession. Explore more courses at lssa.org.za. The Law Society of South Africa, leaders in legal education.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, let's find out what happened in the voter registration drive organized by the Independent Electoral Commission over the weekend. 2 days, 20 and 21 June. A significant number of people actually engaged with the commission. They recorded 2.9 million registration transactions. Now, a transaction doesn't necessarily refer to a new voter. It might be people confirming that the address that the IEC has for them is the correct one. But let's start delving into some of these numbers. And welcome to 702 Drive, Masego Shiburi, Deputy CEO for Electoral Matters at the IEC. Mr. Shiburi, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. As I understand it, 477,174 South Africans registering to vote for the first time. If I've got that figure correct, and you'll correct me if I haven't, it sounds like an impressive number gross, but if we were to match it or see it in the context of how many young South Africans had become eligible to vote for the first time since the last election, what percentage does that represent? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perlman. Indeed, we have the figure correct at 477,174 new registrations. What is encouraging is that 80% of those new registrations are by young persons. In other words, people in the age cohort 16 to 29 years old. While it contributes to invert the underrepresentation of young persons, we still have a long way to go to close the registration gap in among the younger people in the population. So our target is purposefully to target young persons because they've had fewer chances to register to vote, because they've not experienced maybe the dividends of a democracy, and those are the challenges that we must surmount if we are to reverse the phenomenon of an aging aging voters roll.
But again, I don't know if those specific numbers are available, but if I could just go back to the question, Mr. Shiburi, and ask you again. I mean, if we were to take that number in terms of the number, because there would have been an available pool of young people who are of voting age but haven't actually registered. What do we know? Do we know what 477,174 represents as a percentage of that pool?
I do not have the pool, the exact number from the top of my head, but we do comparison with Stats SA when they estimate the population, and we break that into different age categories so that our campaigns are targeted to the ages that demonstrate the most underrepresentation on the voters roll. I can confirm that the young persons constitute the majority, the biggest gap of people that are age eligible and those that are not represented on the voters' roll.
Let's look at some of the sort of sub-numbers, if I can call them that. A significant number of more women are generally amongst the new registrations. Is that a general trend that you would have observed in the build-up to previous elections, or is there something perhaps new that's happening here?
Indeed, that is a well-entrenched trend of there being more women than males on the voters' roll. The total population of females on the voters' roll is 54%. It doesn't end there. They are the majority of participants, even in elections. And on our figures, the majority of electoral staff, i.e. the temporary people that we employ to run voting stations, the overwhelming majority of those are also female.
What insights, Mr. Shiburi, do you draw from another set of numbers? Most of the people opted to actually go to a voting station, but maybe the 12% who actually did this online, a decent number, 362,296. What do those trends tell you? I mean, it does sound as if people, when it comes to voting, still want to hand over their ID to somebody, look them in the eye and make sure that they do exactly what it is they've asked them to do.
Indeed. I think a off-cuff perception would be that we trust, but we want to verify. We can trust technology with other things, but on other things, we want the communal feel of an election. Having said that, the online platform is of great value to us in between elections. If you consider that between 2024, after the last election, and end of May, we lost around 1.3 million people from the voters' roll owing to mortality.
Right.
But because of the convenience of online voter registration, in that 2-year period, we were able to register 1.6 million and thereby reversing the decline by a factor of 300,000 registrants. So in between elections, traditionally we have a net decline on the voters' roll, but with the use of online registration, we have reversed that trend for the first time in between elections. So there is space for the online registration portal for certain categories of voters.
If I'm right, one more round of voter registration. Remind us, if you will, Mr. Shiburi, of the date. But secondly, indicate to us if there's anything at all that you might do differently based on the outcomes of what happened over the last 2 days.
Two things. Yes, I confirm the next voter registration weekend will be on the weekend of the 1st and 2nd of August. The stations will open at 8 and remain open until 1700 hours. However, anyone who's not registered, anyone who needs to update their details, they can use the convenience of the online portal, which has now been zero-rated. In other words, the Commission will incur the costs of a voter transaction on that portal, and we will absorb the cost so that we also create equity for people who do not have access to data and those type of things. We persist with a youthful focused campaign because that is where the majority of the growth on the voters' roll must come from. A number of strategies that we're doing. We visited all tertiary institutions during March and April. We will repeat that drive before we close the voters' roll. We are increasingly on social media. We have youth content on television as well as on community radio, but increasingly our growth is on social media by providing animation, information, but also because the youth are not a homogeneous group, we still maintain a cohort of about 800 municipal democracy education officers throughout the country for those communities in settings where people still prefer one-on-one interactions to receive information.
Thanks very much. Masego Shiburi is Deputy CEO for Electoral Matters at the IEC. So if you went to engage with the IEC over the weekend, just tell us, how did it go? I mean, were you happy with the interactions? Do you feel that whatever queries you had were answered? And if you use the online platforms that are now available, I'm particularly interested to hear how user-friendly those were and whether you felt comfortable and felt that they had sufficient integrity for you to do whatever it is you had gone there to do. Your thoughts on that, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 25 minutes now past 4.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Okay, so some of the issues that have been coming up at the Madlanga Commission are very, very interesting indeed. And we're looking forward to chatting to Alpha Ramoshwana, who's going to be on at 12 minutes past 5. Quite a different session today, in fact, because the person who was supposed to be giving witness, Mike van Wyk, brought his lawyer was present and brought information in regard to his medical condition that meant that he couldn't appear. They said he suffered a number of panic attacks, which has led to him being hospitalized. But what was different today, and this was done obviously with the full agreement of his legal counsel, was that the evidence leader went ahead and continued to present information, all the evidence that they would have led, and clearly there'll be a later opportunity for Mike van Wyk to give his evidence. So Alpha Ramoshwana is joining us a little bit later on the show to give us his comments on that. Michael, responding to those voter registration number, says, I wonder if the number of new registrations is accurate, because the DA have been registering people in Benoni for weeks already. My 18-year-old son is one of them. Michael, I appreciate what you're telling us, and obviously you're reflecting the drive of one single party, but I'm not sure how that would change the gross number countrywide. I mean, the number of new registrations runs into the hundreds of thousands. Are you saying they are light? And if so, light by how much? And if you can give me a reason why you think the number should be significantly higher based on the efforts of one party in one part of Gauteng, I'd be curious to better understand the grounds for your skepticism. But do share that with us. 072 702 1702. It's 27 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Good news on the oil price. What else is happening?
Afternoon to you, John. Yeah, I mean, things not looking too bad on that score. Depends on how you sort of see what's been going on, and some of it is so kind of messy, different people saying different things. We do know that around 5 of these massive oil tankers, they're about 5 times the size of my house, managed to actually get through the Strait of Hormuz over the weekend, and I find that fascinating. But the oil price sinking down slightly, the JSE rising up as a result. So the JSE all share up 0.21%, 112,850 points. Financials down 0.37, industrials down 1.22, and then resources a bit stronger today. They're up 2.72% on the day. ASP isotopes, they're up 6%. Anglo Gold's up 5%. Sibanye, Implats, Valterra all up by around 4%. So some of them doing quite nicely. Some of the gold shares doing all right. And Quilter up 3% as well on the day. Thungela, though, down 5.63%, and Exxaro down 3.8%. They actually have a capital markets day today, and Exxaro Resources saying in the 6 months to the end of June, they expect to increase coal production by 10% and sales by 6%. Interesting, because coal prices, they reckon, will sell for an average of around $105 a tonne during the period, compared to $92 a tonne for the same period last year. And then some news just coming to hand now, essentially talking about Edexis. You may remember the Edexis story, John. Edexis is a compounding pharmacy. They've been selling weight loss drugs. And Novo Nordisk, the owners of those drugs, or the patents in South Africa, went to court to stop them, and Reuters reporting that the High Court's granted Novo Nordisk that interim interdict preventing them. We'd spoken to both sides on that. We'd spoken to IDEX. They were adamant that what they were doing was correct and legal and all the rest. The court saying for the moment anyway that they can't continue with that process. Remember, SAPRA, the Health Products Regulatory Authority, they were involved there too. Standard Bank saying today they're on track to meet their guidance for the full financial year to the end of December. They had a 5-month update. They've increased their disbursements in the business and commercial banking sector here. Their home loans portfolio growing in the low single digits. Their current accounts and term deposits recorded strong growth. Their high interest rates and competitive pricing in the South African home loans portfolio. I find that interesting. That suggests that actually people are competing on interest rates in some ways. Looking in the US now, and things obviously still very much all about oil prices. So a sort of tentative start, I suppose, is the right way to put it. The Dow Jones is up 0.57, the Nasdaq is up 0.09, the S&P 500 is up 0.36. The gold price, $4,206.89 an ounce, platinum $1,693.96, Brent crude $77.72 a barrel. The rand to the dollar holding its own at 16.41, to the euro 18.76. Now, to the British pound, it's doing quite nicely at 21.74, and that's because of the resignation of Keir Starmer as the British Prime Minister. He's gone. Just an interesting comment. We've spoken to quite a few CEOs, South African CEOs of companies here that have British operations, John, and without exception, they've all said how hard the trading environment in the UK is. That economy really is still battling, probably all because of a stupid decision they made 10 years ago. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Yeah, the Brexit dividend indeed. 29 minutes to 5. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news now with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon again.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Political analyst Andre Duvenacher has warned that the upcoming local government elections could be amongst the most difficult South Africa has faced since 1996. It comes as concerns grow over political violence and instability following a string of killings involving political figures in the recent weeks. Earlier this month, ANC activist and businessman Wanele Konsi was gunned down in Qumbu, while another ANC member was critically injured. During the voter registration weekend, DA councillor candidate Sinovuya Jokwe was shot and killed in Cape Town, while in Nelson Mandela Bay, DA councillor Celo Mleve was also murdered. 2 other men linked to the MK party were also killed in Bekkersdal on Gauteng's West Rand. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Political analyst Andre Duvenacher says warning signs of political instability seen ahead of the 2021 local government elections are beginning to resurface. He says ongoing violence and political instability threaten the environment needed for credible elections.
So there are serious challenges facing our democracy. Violence and patterns of instability is at the core of this. And this is indicating very difficult elections. This is not an environment where you will easily get free and fair elections.
Duvenacher adds that the public trust in democracy remains low, with an IEC assessment showing confidence level below 10% in KwaZulu-Natal and about 20% nationally. Dutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen has announced the arrival of 2 million more doses of foot and mouth disease vaccines from Turkey. Steenhuisen also says local vaccine production is ramping up. The announcement comes a week after DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis asked the president to remove Steenhuisen as the Minister of Agriculture. The move is largely viewed as in direct response to Steenhuisen's response to the foot and mouth disease outbreak, which has not always found favour with commercial farmers and agricultural unions. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In his latest update on the department's FMD response, Minister John Steenhuisen says figures show that the provinces are vaccinating cattle at a faster pace than expected. To date, more than 5.4 million cattle have been jabbed. That's just more than a third of the national herd, with the aim of reaching 80% by the end of the year. Steenhuisen says he's particularly pleased about action taken in the Free State, where more than 1 million vaccines have been administered. He's also thanked the private sector with whom he's been at loggerheads in recent months for ramping up vaccinations alongside the state.
The goal must remain to work together to vaccinate as many cattle as possible, as quickly as possible, in order to end the current outbreak and place us on the path to ensuring that this is the last major outbreak of foot-and-mouth disease in South Africa.
Steenhuisen is set to be replaced by Environment Minister Willie Oukamp and demoted to Deputy Minister in the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And 21 farmers have been killed in Nigeria following an attack on the country's plateau state. Authorities say the assailants entered the village and started shooting randomly, wounding several other people. Rural areas in the plateau state see recurring violence between mostly Christian farmers and semi-nomadic Muslim herders, often over dwindling land and under pressure from climate change and expanding populations. According to AFP, illegal mining and accusations of land grabbing are also known to add tensions over land access. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 6 degrees and highs of between 17 and 20.
Rudeport, we still have that accident scene on Decker. So this is near Collett Avenue, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Westgate Mall. Alex heading towards Germiston. Traffic heavily backed up. N3 South from Marlborough Drive to the Gilulis interchange, and in Benoni, Boksburg, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Atlas Road approaching the N12.
The top story in EWN, political analyst Andre Duvenage has warned that the upcoming local government elections could be amongst the most difficult South Africa has faced.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why do you believe, as the EFF, that this is an irrational path that the Speaker has taken?
I've read that report, Clement. There's not a single word of abide in that entire opinion.
Well, she says there were two legal opinions. One said abide and the other said oppose.
No, the one that said abide is the one of the impeachment committee. So the impeachment committee sought legal advice. And it came up with two options. You either abide or you oppose. And the committee took a resolution that we are opposing. So the Speaker cannot use the report of the impeachment committee as if it's her report.
Umpile Mautu is the EFF Treasurer General.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
Head to Dis-Chem for the ultimate savings this winter. Look out for the yellow label to shop Better Rewards brands in-store and online. Swipe your Better Rewards card to save 99 Rand on the Huggies size 1 to 5 extra care nappies. Now only 170 Rand and 9 cents per pack. Plus save 60 Rand on the Johnson 6-pack of extra sensitive or gentle all-over baby wipes. Now only 102 Rand 68. Offers valid until 12 July at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Matlangalitis. Hey, Dr. John, you are spicy, eh? Yeah, pretty soon the lawyers will just show up and say, my client is not available. He's got the Mazanga. Hey, Sean here, Alberton. It's so crazy.
Yeah, if you missed it, I was just saying, the regularity, or maybe it seems to me to be very regular, the regularity with which people who have to come to the Madlanga Commission to face important questions plead that they have health issues, and there may well be instances where these are genuine, but I just thought, is there a case to be made for medical aids to add a further condition to their lengthy list called Madlangalitis? It comes on fairly swiftly after you get a subpoena. 702 Drive, 21 minutes to 4 o'clock. 5.
EWN Sport.
Correct at 21 minutes to 5 o'clock. Time for sport with Tolakele Mganga.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
So much, John. And Belgium media have lambasted the Red Devils' lackluster World Cup draw against Iran, with the team's aging stars drawing scorn from the newspapers. Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku received the most criticism after they made it 2 points from their 2 games. Lukaku and his teammates now need a strong performance against New Zealand on Friday to avoid a group stage elimination for a second straight World Cup.
You with 10 men, I think if you go for the win, you can see it in the end. The whole country is going to be even more disappointed than they are now. I have to stay positive in a way. I don't like the result, but I have to stay positive because at the end of the day, we have one more game to play, and we have to make sure that we make the best out of that game. Today the performance was what it was. We were not efficient enough. We were a bit emotional, but in the end we created a lot. So let's stick to the positive side and try to improve for the next game.
The games today will see defending champions Argentina up against Austria, France take on Iraq, Norway face off with Senegal, while Ghana clash with England. Dan Burns says the Three Lions will be looking for a better defensive showing, having conceded 2 goals in their 4-2 victory over Croatia.
Nobody wants to concede goals. I think we're 2 probably very different goals. I think the first goal, we've lost possession in an area where we wouldn't want to, when you're sort of reacting to that. There was players out of position. There's things to work on, but I think that throughout qualifying we've been pretty good defensively. But we're at a World Cup where teams can cause you problems, so that's going to happen, and it's just about putting those things right going into the next game against Ghana.
Erling Haaland will be looking to get on the score sheet once again, having netted a brace on his World Cup debut. Coach Steel Solbakken has praised the striker's match-winning ability as they target a knockout berth.
He's in great shape, so hopefully there's more to come, and he can bring something already tomorrow. He needs service also, like any other player in the world, and hopefully we can give him that tomorrow. He has been a great match winner for us in many games now, and hopefully that will continue.
And German defender Nico Schlotterberg is out of the tournament, having injured a left ankle ligament. He suffered the problem during Saturday's 2-1 win over Ivory Coast and had to be replaced at half-time. The German FA will not call up a replacement as they have the likes of Jonathan Tah and Antonio Rudiger in their squad. Tola Gelimganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes now to 5 o'clock. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Busy out in Roodepoort earlier, getting worse?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, John. There's an accident scene on Deckers near Colet Avenue, now causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Westgate Mall. In Alex traveling towards Germiston, expect about a 20-minute delay. N3 South from Marlborough Drive to the Kilulis interchange. In Benoni, also bumper-to-bumper traffic on Atlas Road approaching the N12. Boksburg heading towards Germiston Alberton. Traffic is now sluggish on the N17 westbound between Rondebold and Osborne due to ongoing roadworks, while in Zakaria Park roadworks also slowing down traffic on the Golden Highway between the R554 and Freedom Drive. And finally in Wonderboom, Tshwane, there's more than a 20-minute delay on Steve Biko. This is between Fred Nicholson and Lavender. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 48. Did I upload the updated version of the presentation? Oh, the anxiety. Well, with the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. We were chatting the other day about how, on the one hand, it's really nice when people you know often offer to help you out and fix something. It might be something physical or material like plumbing or anything that might be going on wrong at your house. They might offer to do some legal work for you or whatever. And these could be family members, friends of friends. I was reflecting on an experience I had where actually it would have just been altogether better if I'd said to them, okay, I appreciate your offer, but I really must pay you something, not because they were pushing for it, but I felt the relationship would have been on a much firmer footing if, in fact, we had done this where I just paid some money and it was a kind of, if not a completely business-like relationship, there was a thread of business through it. So I'm wondering what your experiences have been when people offer to do things for you. Can things start getting quite awkward because maybe they don't do it as quickly as they might do if it was a paying client for them, and you are getting it for nothing, so you don't feel you can push? It's murky water, and I wonder if you've managed to find your way and swim in the right direction. Tolakele, I don't know if you've been in that situation, but if you have, do you have a thought on that? That we tend to work better if there's some kind of material compensation involved, or can you get good things even if people are doing them for absolutely nothing?
I think it's only good if it's family doing it for free because the reputation amongst the rest of the family will go around. But also I think just be willing to pay for people's service, because even if someone says, I'll do this thing for free, it is still their time, it's still their equipment, it's whatever they resources that they're using to make sure that you're no longer inconvenienced. Even if you don't pay the full amount, pay them something, just to say, I appreciate your work and the quality that you're still putting in, even though you're saying, I'm willing to do this for free.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's obviously great. And sometimes people really do, Karabo, want to do something for you because it's an expression of respect or affection, or they looking, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but perhaps to kind of build some currency, either in a social group or a family or whatever, and show their willingness to help. But does it generally end in tears?
Yeah, this one kind of ended in tears. There's this friend of mine who suggested I take my electric heater to this guy he knows, and it's also his friend. Some bars were not working, so I was like, oh, okay, let's take it there. And then when it came back, when we switched it on, it just tripped the circuit breaker all the time. And I didn't know if I should complain to him, but I just kept quiet. And then I took it to another specialist, a technician who fixed it properly. And I'm never going back to that friend's reference.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting dilemma that people find themselves in. Give us a call on that, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Your thoughts. Do you offer to do things for free? And sometimes, by the way, people kind of ask you. It gets a little bit awkward. There is a view, for example, that's related to all of this, that if people get something for nothing, they don't particularly value it. And you may get more complaints about often unspecific things if you have done it for nothing than if you do it as a straight business relationship. Trust me, I'm not trying to ruin friendships and family ties by suggesting nobody should ever offer to do anything for anybody. But maybe some kind of sharper understanding of the what and the why could be achieved if there was some compensation, even if it was token. Your views on that, please. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. 12 minutes to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, we did speak a little bit earlier, and if you missed it, it's worth catching up on, to Ms. Sekho Shiburi, Deputy CEO for Electoral Matters. A good weekend of voter registration, a good number of new voters, and lots of people, almost 3 million of them, engaging with the IEC in some way to, for example, check up on addresses and registration details and so on, indicating a strong commitment to take part in the local government poll on the 4th of November. But some dark clouds over the weekend as well. First of all, a Democratic Alliance ward candidate was shot dead and shot and killed in Dunoon in the Western Cape. That's out on the Cape Flats. Sino Vuyo Diokwe was shot and killed, and condolences go out to all family members in that regard. And then another death in the Eastern Cape. ANC Ward 27 councillor in Nelson Mandela Bay, also a member of the ANC Regional Executive Committee, Sicelo Mleve, shot and killed on Saturday evening, and condolences to Sicelo's family and friends as well. So what's going on? Because we've walked this road before. We know that political killings task teams were set up, and sometimes this did involve contestation in the build-up, particularly to local government elections. Let's welcome to the show then spokesperson for the South African Local Government Association, Tale Modiba. Mr. Modiba, welcome and thanks so much for your time. We've seen this happen before, and obviously you will be concerned that it's happening again. Have we made any strides at all in trying to, first of all, stop this happening, but at the very least finding the people responsible, or are we no closer to a solution?
I think, John, let me start by saying condolences as well from SALGA to the affected families and friends of who have lost their loved ones. We are deeply concerned as SALGA at the incidents that have just taken place, especially more so that these are incidents that often intensifies around election time. And that's why we've got data that show that during this period, you are likely to see more incidents of threats and intimidations as you get closer to the election date and so forth. And the call that we've made as SALGA to law enforcement agencies in particular and other stakeholders, one is that we've got intelligence that is there, that is available to us, and therefore it's important that from a law enforcement point of view that there's visible policing, but that we strengthen our intelligence gathering around this particular period, but that also we fast-track investigations and effect arrest as quickly as possible. But even when arrests have been made, there needs to be a clear demonstrable consequences in terms of prosecutions taking place and harsher sentences being meted out, so that we discourage this kind of an environment taking place. We've also made a call to political parties themselves, because these people that you've mentioned, they are obviously involved in a political system. Many of them are part of organization one or two. Therefore, we've made a call to political parties themselves to say they need to work harder to foster a culture of contestation within their own organizations, where violence is not seen as a means to emerge politically or to advance, because there are other ways. The issue of people contesting on ideas and allowing the public to be able to freely make choices, because when you've got violence, what you are doing is that you are denying the public the right to choose capable leaders who probably would have been people that would turn local government around, and you are eliminating them out of the way, and or even discouraging those that want to serve from arising, because they will think that it's risky for us to take our time and serve.
I mean, Mr. Modiba, it's one thing to encourage political parties to not contest in this way. I mean, to be honest, they should know that. And given that they should know that, don't we need to recognize that those with a predisposition to act in this violent and brutal way are not going to be dissuaded by appeals to their better side? I mean, it would suggest they don't have a better side.
You're quite correct, John, and that's why you and I, Salga, included there, because we're not law enforcement entities, we can only revert back to putting pressure on law enforcement entities, the value chain within the criminal justice system, to be tightened, to be strengthened, because if we don't do that, the likelihood is that we run the risk of descending into a state of lawlessness, and therefore it's quite critical that we don't read this in isolation, but we look at it in the broader picture of when governance is weakened, when our institutions such as the police and so forth are facing difficulties, the likelihood is that will then lead to a situation where criminal elements among us tend to run amok. And therefore, hence we've made a clear call to say this is a matter that requires clear interventions from law enforcement agencies. limited there. We must also accept the fact that there should be a role that is played by other players as well in the midst of all of this.
Doesn't the problem lie somewhere else, though, Mr. Mudiba, in the very justifiable belief of people increasingly over the years that if you get into politics, this is a route, if you play your cards right and you manage to get yourself as close as possible to the financial aspects of local government, this is a way to make money for yourself and to make money for others. And that for as long as that perception exists, and for as long as there is no real consequence for abusing local government and indeed other arms of government to enrich yourself and others, then political contestation, as we call it, but perhaps we should put it in inverted commas, is actually about a fight for territory. And unless we fix that aspect, arguably what goes on in the build-up to elections is a byproduct of that rather than the cause.
You're quite right, John. Salga has got a system or a report that just done called Municipal Violence Incident Reporting,
right?
Where we've worked with the Human Rights Research Council, and what that report shows is that there are mitigating factors, and I think you've hit the head on the nail in terms of saying the elections tend to intensify competition for positions and resources because they are seen as political roles are seen as an avenue to get access to certain resources, and therefore we need to zoom in terms of consequences around this so that we deter this kind of behavior. But there's a greater work that needs to happen in society in terms of political consciousness and also I'll say perhaps to understand public education in terms of the kind of leader that we need to see emerging from as we go into this electoral process that we are currently engaged in to ensure that we elect leaders that have got a moral compass, leaders that will place the country first, leaders that will contest on the veracity of ideas in terms of how they can better serve the public, how they can better improve the living conditions. And of course, the local government space over a period of time has improved in terms of councillors that are serving being able to be remunerated accordingly. But the issue around people seeing this solely as a vehicle for them to access resources, it's a worrying factor that we've consistently been flagging to say, and that's why we keep on saying people that contest for political roles do not emerge out of nowhere. They emerge from within a particular context.
Thank you very much, Mutaletale Mudiba, Salga spokesperson, joining us from the South African Local Government Association. 3 minutes to 5.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
There's growing anxiety about the planned demonstrations set for the 30th of June. What if things go wrong? And have the perceptions about the impact of migrants been properly tested?
The fact of the matter is we have lots of undocumented immigrants in South Africa.
How concerned are you in terms of the loss of control by the state on this issue?
Repatriating illegal immigrants is not a solution.
We can't deport our way out of this, can we?
Absolutely not. You have to go to the root cause.
What can South Africa do?
Some significant, difficult political decisions must be made. Pressure must be brought to bear. Sanctions needs to be part of the package in order to pressurize governments.
I wonder if we haven't been complicit by having this kid glove approach. Dr. Oscar van Heerden.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
It's your last chance to enter. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries soon. This year, we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses that make a real difference. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa every morning to meet the finalists and hear their inspiring stories. Go to igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com to enter. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Get over 150 million rand in weekly extra savings with the Checkers XXL Savings Championship, like Clover Bliss Double Cream Yogurt, 1 kg for 42.99, Sunfoil Pro Chef Canola Oil, 2 litres for 69.99, and L'Oreal Elvive Shampoo or Conditioner, 300 or 400 mils, any two for 160 rand. Valid until 28 June, only at Checkers.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park Stadium this year. Lions fans, get ready. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership package to watch the Springboks versus England and the All Blacks. Or from just 950 Rand, get your Lions-only package and unlock access to every Lions match at Ellis Park. All packages include the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Memberships are available now at Ticket Pro or through our stadium ticket office. Visit lionsrugby.co.za for package options. Own the season and get behind your team.
Outsurance knows that when it comes to insurance, trust isn't built on clever advertising and promises. It's built on how fairly an insurer pays claims. The Ombudsman, an independent body that rules on complaints, confirmed in their 2025 annual report that Outsurance had the lowest overturned ratio of complaints received. Make today the day you switch to Outsurance, where you always get something out. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za today. Licensed insurer and FSP, T's, C's and information online.
This is EWN.
Over R500 million made available for June 30 security operations, and Brown Mokhotzi's wife accused of intimidation. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says government will spend more than R500 million to ensure the country does not descend into chaos on June 30th. The funds have been set aside for law enforcement deployment during next week's planned demonstrations against illegal immigration. Kachalia made the announcement during a media briefing in Johannesburg this afternoon. He says the funds form part of an extraordinary financial boost to the South African Police Services budget. Our reporter Nkosikona Malingamnisi reports.
Police ministry officials are ramping up operational readiness in key hotspot provinces, including Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape. Beyond deploying officers to potential flashpoints, government officials will engage provincial and municipal leaders, private security companies and community policing forums in an effort to prevent violence linked to the nationwide demonstrations. When asked about the scale of the deployment, Kachalia said the operation is not driven solely by identified risks, but by a broader commitment to safeguarding public safety and maintaining law and order.
We are deploying on the basis of our goal. The goal is to keep the country safe and secure. And it costs a lot of money. The people who are involved in efforts at destabilization should know that. I can tell you that it's going to cost the South African Police Service over 600 million.
Meanwhile, the South African National Defence Force has been placed on standby as a precautionary measure should unrest erupt. Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The IEC says almost 480,000 of registrations processed this past weekend will be first-time voters. The figure amounts to 16% of 2.9 million registrations completed over 2 days. The Commission says it's pleased to see improved participation from young people who are a key demographic that it's targeted through voter education and mobilization campaigns. The Commission's CEO, Sai Mamabolo, says more than 80% of registrations were completed in person at voting stations countrywide.
These figures indicate that youth-focused campaigns are finding resonance with young persons, and that far from it, young persons are not apathetic. Voter management devices at the registration stations were the predominant channel of registration with over 2.5 million.
Suspended EMPD chief Julius Mkhwanazi's relationship with controversial businessman Mike van Wyk has come under scrutiny at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. WhatsApp messages between the two were revealed at the commission, showing that Mkhwanazi authorized the installation of blue lights on van Wyk's cars. Van Wyk subsequently sent a video to the EMPD official in which he is seen using a stack of money as a fan. Van Wyk's evidence is being presented in his absence today after his appearance was postponed due to claims that he suffers from severe panic attacks. Alfa Mushwana reports.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has seen several videos presented as evidence against controversial businessman Mike van Wyk. In one of the videos, which Van Wyk sent to alleged underworld figure Vusmuzi Kat Matlala, he's seen introducing EMPD top cop Julius Mkhwanazi to Matlala. In another video screened at the commission, Van Wyk is seen flaunting a stack of cash and asking Mkhwanazi to come up with ideas on how they could spend it together.
Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine's not working so lekker. I don't know if it's because it's hard. I'm not sure what it's doing. Anyway, I have another one here. Let's put this one here and try this one. Oh, it's also hard. I'm going to spend this fucking money now. Please tell me where we're going. Have a lucky day.
It's believed that this was Van Wyk's way of expressing gratitude to Mkhwanazi for helping him acquire police blue lights on his new bakkie. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Johannesburg Regional Court has heard that the wife of self-proclaimed political fixer Brown Mokgotsi is now facing a charge of intimidation. It's understood Dorothy Lechwaba allegedly went to a neighbor's house to coerce her into making a false statement regarding Mokgotsi's address. Mokgotsi was initially denied bail after the court found he misled investigating officers about his residential address. He is facing charges related to allegedly staging his own assassination attempt in Vosloorus last year. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
In an affidavit by investigating officer Lieutenant Colonel Alfred Warendal, the neighbor Thandiwe Sonokwane alleged that Mokgotsi's wife Dorothy Lechwaba instructed her to provide another statement claiming that her house number was the same as Lechwaba's. According to the affidavit, she told investigators that she felt intimidated, alleging that this was the third occasion on which Lechwaba had visited her and pressured her to make a false statement. A case of intimidation was opened a day after Mokgotsi was denied bail. In affidavits before the court, investigating officers Lieutenant Colonel Warendal and Lieutenant Colonel Nontobeko Mzizi rejected claims by Mokgotsi that police ignored information that allegedly confirmed his residential address. Mokgotsi claimed that Thandiwe's son Maxwell Sonokwane pointed officers to his home and informed them that he lived 3 houses away from where police were conducting interviews. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News to the Johannesburg Regional Court.
And in France, an investigation is underway following the discovery of 2 children in a car. The children, aged 2 and 4, were found in their family car in a residential parking lot. Authorities believe they died as a result of extremely hot temperatures as Europe deals with an intense heat wave. The latest bout of high temperatures has seen outdoor events cancelled, transport disrupted, schools shut, and office workers told to work from home. Britain's Met Office has issued a rare red warning for extreme heat, the National Weather Agency's highest alert level. While gold is trading at $4,202.77 an ounce, the rand is at 16.42 to the dollar, 21.74 to the pound, 18.77 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $79.24 a barrel.
In the city of Tshwane, you can expect about a 20-minute delay in Wonderboom on Steve Biko. This is between Fred Nicholson and Lavender. Hermanstad leaving the Pretoria CBD. Traffic heavily backed up on Eskiam Pahlele from Vomhagen all the way to the R80. Roodepoort, we still have that accident seen on Deckers. This is near Collet Avenue, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Westgate Mall.
In your sports, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland look to light up the FIFA World Cup once again. Rassie Erasmus named 6 uncapped players in his 46-man Nations Championship Springbok squad, and Leo Cullen to leave Leinster at the end of next season.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 6 degrees, peaking at 17. Pretoria 6 and 20, and Vereeniging 5 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says government will spend more than R500 million to ensure the country does not descend into chaos on June 30th.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. It's great to have you with us on the show. Quite a few of you getting in touch on the issue of the killing of people who are either councillors or aspiring to get involved in local government. We'll engage with your voice notes a little bit later, but let's get straight into what has happened at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. And welcome to the show, our EWN reporter colleague, Alpha Ramashwana. Alpha, a very good afternoon to you. It's been an extraordinary day there. Mike van Wyk, the man from Medicare 24, businessman who was supposed to give evidence today, presenting medical details, saying why he would be unavailable. His legal counsel was there. But evidence leader Matthew Chaskelson then proceeded to put on the record some quite remarkable videos. For example, one of them showed cocaine being weighed. What was that all about? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. It was indeed a very different but quite interesting day at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. As you've mentioned, the video which was depicted or screened at the commission today shows cocaine being weighed on what appears to be a scale. And the video was found in WhatsApp conversations between Vusumuzi Kat Matala and EMPD top cop and Mike van Wyk, rather, who's a close associate of Vusumuzi Kat Matala and owns Medicare 24. And what the video shows is 5 bricks of cocaine, 5 white bricks of cocaine being weighed. And Mike van Wyk, in his affidavit, claims that the video was never sent to him by Matala. He claims that it might have been planted. Now, the commission begs to differ, Dr. John. They say that it is technically impossible to plant a video on WhatsApp. Perhaps if the video was found in his gallery on his phone, he could have had a case, but the video was only found in WhatsApp conversations between him and Vusumuzi Kat Matala, and it's technically impossible to plant such a video. So then the big question at the Madlanga Commission today, Dr. John, was, is Mike van Wyk alongside Vusumuzi Kat Matala, are they dealing in drugs? Well, that question, I guess, would be answered when he submits his supplementary affidavit to the commission. But what we do know is that Matala did send a video to Mike van Wyk, and he was weighing those drugs. And in response, Mike van Wyk asked Matala to get him a price for those bricks of cocaine. The commission did managed to confirm that it was cocaine. The cocaine had a logo, and they managed to confirm with the forensic science laboratory whether the bricks of cocaine are drugs. And so we do know for a fact that these were drugs that were being sent to Mike van Wyk by Matala, and we could not get an answer from van Wyk why exactly they were sending each other such videos, because he wasn't at the commission today due to a panic attack.
Yeah. Alpha, one of the things where, I mean, in the parts that I listened to, before with the former EMPD top cop, Brigadier Mkwanazi, there were issues around the issuing of blue lights, and the impression might have been created that these blue lights were for people's convenience and a little bit of ego and being able to rush through traffic. But it seems to me, and I don't know if the commission drew out this inference, that when the conversation might be around illegal activity, including moving drugs around, then actually having blue lights becomes a way of not just evading traffic, but of evading justice.
Startled a lot of people today, that John, was that Mike van Wyk and Vusumuzi Kat Matala asked Julius Mkhwanazi from the EMPD to set up a drug unit within the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, and that unit would deal with combating drug trafficking and drug-related crimes in the city of Ekurhuleni. Just a few hours before we saw those WhatsApp conversations, we saw that Matlala and Van Wyk were sending each other videos of drugs and talking about prices for those drugs. So another question that the evidence leaders asked was, why would people who seemingly are dealing in drugs recommend to the EMPD that they start a drug unit to combat drugs? Following that, we also saw that both Matlala and Mike Van Wyk were given blue lights using unlawful and fraudulent memoranda of understanding by EMPD top cop Julius Mkhwanazi. And those blue lights, it seemed as though Mkhwanazi was doing a favor for both of them, and subsequent to that, he received large sums of cash from both Matlala and Mkhwanazi, and the bank statements were screened at the commission, so we saw amounts of 20,000 Rand, we saw amounts of 30,000 Rand that were sent to Mkhwanazi by both Mike Van Wyk and Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. So the question you ask is very valid, Ntate John, and unfortunately he wasn't there to answer that. Were the blue lights being used to transport drugs, since the two of them seemingly had an interest in drugs? And were they asking Mkhwanazi to set up a drug unit because they wanted to make their own lives and their own businesses easier through Julius Mkhwanazi and the EMPD?
Thank you so much, Alpha Ramoshwana, EWN reporter. I don't know if any of you were watching today. I mean, as I said earlier, a very different kind of session at the Madlanga Commission, the witness not present. But given the constraints on the time, they only have 30 more days to actually deal with the Commission's business. And I don't easily see how they're actually going to get that done. But the agreement that was reached with Mike Van Wyk's counsel as well, concurring, was that the evidence leader would go through the evidence and set out the kinds of questions that he would be asking Mr. Van Wyk when he can actually return and present himself to the commission. But if you're watching, do give us a call and let us know. 702 Drive, 16 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get the very latest from out on the roads. Problems in Wonderboom in the northern part of Tshwane. Karabo Charlie with all those details.
Yeah, leaving the Pretoria CBD heading up north, there's about a 20-minute delay in Wonderboom. This is on Steve Biko between Fred Nicholson and Lavender. Still in Tshwane, Hermanstad, also traffic heavily backed up. This is on Eskiam Pahlele between Vomhagen and the R80. Road report, we're still dealing with that accident scene on Deckers near Collet, causing huge delays all the way from Westgate Mall. While in Alex, traveling towards Germiston Alberton, expect about a 20-minute delay. N3 South from Marlborough Drive to the Gilulis interchange. Boksburg, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is on the N17 westbound between Rondebold and Osborne due to ongoing roadworks. Heading towards Diepkloof, Soweto, expect some delays on the N1 southbound from Albertina Sisulu all the way to Rancho Road due to an earlier accident. And finally in Eldorado Park, slow-moving traffic N12 West between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Medicare 24 CEO Mike Van Wyk's testimony at the Madlanga Commission has been postponed after his medical reports suggested that he's unwell. Van Wyk was meant to testify today about his links to alleged underworld figure Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Chaskelson says they've agreed to proceed without him.
What the proposal is that we will use today for me to take the commission through the evidence bundle so that the inferences that we seek to draw and the evidence that we are concerned about is clear.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts, delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools. from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
Are your nails discolored, brittle, crumbly, or appear ragged? Are they thickened or starting to lift off their nail bed? You may have a fungal nail infection, which can lead to discomfort, limit your activities, and have a negative impact on your social life because of the embarrassment. New Turbane Nail treats fungal nail infections by directly killing the fungus. It requires no filing before application and dries in about 30 seconds once applied. Ask your pharmacist about New Turbane Nail and say goodbye to fungal nail infections.
That's Fani before he got naked. Fani's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Fani got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Fani. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 20 minutes past 5 o'clock now on the show. Coming up in the last part of the show, we'll be playing you some music. Today we're asking a question about people who are both actors and singers. Maybe they started out in the world of music and ended up in the movies. It could be the other way around, but people who are good at not just one thing, but two. And in this instance, really terrifically good, I think, at both. Lady Gaga alongside Bradley Cooper on the remake of A Star Is Born. So please send me your favorites, singers, actors, where the same person has managed to do both, be a movie star and a pop star. I bet when they were asked as kids, they probably chose one of them. Imagine succeeding at both. But your suggestions, please, to 072 702 1702. It's 21 minutes past 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Dr. John, I agree with you. You hit the head on the nail with this one, because these political killings are the same thing that led the medical aides to considering putting matlangalitis as one of the high risks and illnesses or viruses that we have in South Africa because of these political killings. We are here because of this, and this is going to make medical aid so expensive because of this new illness, the matlangalitis, that is now going to be high risk on our medical aids. And, this is the same Matlanga commission and that was looking at the task team of the political killings that was supposed to be dismantled, But you see that these political killings are still continuing even today.
Dr. John, the issue here is that these guys are appointed based on populist or popularity contest, right, at councillor level. I promise you, if you were to say councillors need to have minimum and a postgraduate degree in law or graduate degree in law, something that can demonstrate that outside your party politics, you all generally have an aptitude for all things legislative, the law and policy of the country. I would place such a requirement on all the councillors that need to operate in all the municipalities in South Africa. Not this populist contest that we see that later ends impacting society to the lack of poor service delivery. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Uncle John. You know what? It can get awkward. People can ask you to do things for free, but you only find that it is a lot. It is a lot, and compensation was needed. Like someone breaks down on the highway, and you want to help them out, but you just realize that no. Now I spend too much fuel and time and what. Yeah, no. And personally, I don't like asking for help. When I ask for help, I'm going to be paying because I don't want those awkward moments now, like someone is expecting something and I'm not giving to them. It's Paul here from Pretoria.
Yeah, thanks. We were asking the question a little bit earlier. Sometimes out of friendship, out of family ties, maybe work ties, people say, no, don't worry. I'm happy to do this for you. I will fix your plumbing or come round and do this and that to help you hang your curtains, or it could be professional services. Don't worry, I'll draw up your will. I've had this experience, and it's been absolutely well meant by people. But the question we're asking is it fundamentally actually just a better idea to always offer some kind of compensation so that there's a business element, even if it might be in the form of a gift or some kind of quid pro quo? You do this for me, I'll do that for you. But often things where the intentions are often really, really good can end in some unhappiness. I asked earlier about madlangalitis as a condition, a medical condition that seems to become all prevalent. We have a remedy for that from somebody from AA who says, well, there's always madlangamycin, which can be used to treat this condition. I don't know if the Commission has a decent supply. 25 minutes past 5.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What should be happening behind the scenes in anticipation?
My main attention would be to talk to these people organizing these marches. I've heard the organizers last week and the week before constantly saying, oh no, we will not use violence, we will just march, and there is this deadline and they must now leave. I would talk to them and warn them about the dangers so that they can get marshals to control those crowds.
Dr. Chris de Kock.
The Midday Report,
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
This July experienced a world premiere unlike anything Johannesburg has seen before. The Bacchae, an African choral ballet, is the first of its kind collaboration between Joburg Ballet, UJ Arts and Culture, the acclaimed University of Johannesburg Choir, and a live chamber orchestra from the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra. It's a bold reimagining of Euripides' timeless classic. This spectacular production fuses ballet, African choral music, and live orchestral performance into one unforgettable theatrical event. See it from 3 to 12 July at the Mandela Theatre at the Joburg Theatre. Book now at Web Tickets. The Bacchae, an African choral ballet, a landmark world premiere. Don't miss it.
Mavis, I wonder if I should sell my car. I'm not sure where to go.
Wanna sell your car, but don't know what to do. You don't have to go far, we come to you. If you're rolling on a 1.5 or a Lacquer 2.2, doesn't matter what you drive, we buy cars once you.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
EWN Business.
At 27 minutes past 5, let's find out what's been happening on the markets. Stephen Critters, good afternoon to you again.
Afternoon to you, John. Well, the JSE ending just up, really. Brent crude is slightly down
on the day, but the all share just ending up 0.11%, 112,730 points, mainly pulled up by resources. Industrials are down 0.6, financials are down 0.6, industrials are down 1.3, and resources up 2.66%. As usual, higher gold and platinum prices really pulling things up there. But that said, John, some of the resources are down quite strongly. Tungela is down 5.61. Exxaro in the coal space, they're down 4.5%. They had a capital markets day today, and they essentially said that for the 6 months to the end of June, they expect to have increased coal production by 5%, sales by 6%, and all of this with quite significantly higher coal prices. So they are expecting that to make a bit of a difference. Their wind portfolio will produce slightly less electricity than last year. They will reach their contracted availability number of 97%. Also down today, Standard Bank down 2.21%. They're not the only financial share that's down, I must say, but they're down 2.21. They put out an update saying that they're on track to meet guidance for the full financial year to the end of December. Over the last 5 months, there's been higher transactional activity in South Africa, but that's been offset by higher interest rates and then competitive pricing in their home loans portfolio here. What that means, John, is that if you're looking at buying a property, you really do need to shop around. You'll get a better deal. Also, we see that Prosus, Canal Plus, and Richmond and Vodacom all down significantly on the day, and We Buy Cars down 2.61%. Implats, Anglo Gold, Sibanye, all of them up strongly, as you would expect, up by around 4%. ASP Isotopes also up, and DRD Gold and Gold Fields up nearly 3% on the day. Quilter, the financial share, they're up 2.56% on the day as well. You may remember the big fight with Edexis. They're a compounding pharmacy. Novo Nordisk had said, you're making our weight loss drugs illegally. Edexis had denied that. The Health Products Regulatory Authority said you're making them unsafely. Edexis denied that. Well, Novo Nordisk winning an interim court interdict today, preventing them from making those drugs. We'll talk more about that on The Money Show. I expect quite a lot of legal battles to follow on that issue. In the US, a slightly tentative opening, things turning a little negative, waiting to see what's going to happen with oil prices, I think. The Dow Jones is up 0.22%. The Nasdaq is down 1.08%. The S&P 500 is down 0.35%. The gold price, $4,195.72 an ounce. Platinum, $1,677.70. Brent crude, $77.88. The rand to the dollar, 16.37. To the euro, 18.74. And to the British pound, 21.71. The pound weaker today because Britain's gone and lost another prime minister. It's a really bad habit. And once you get into that habit, it's actually quite difficult for democracies to get rid of it. So they're in that trouble. We'll talk Edexis and weight loss drugs on The Money Show. We will talk also about the strange story involving the Strait of Hormuz and how some oil tankers are able to creep through it by going dark. I mean, I don't just think they're switching off their lights. I think they're doing a bit more than that. We'll also get the latest on the incredible PIC story and Lanceria and the stake and 400 million rand. And we will remember Alan Greenspan. John, you'll remember the phrase irrational exuberance. How he termed the American economy in the 90s and what that meant a little later. And then from 7:30, everything you've ever needed to know. Krabo, both of them are going to laugh about being an influencer. Stephen Gritter's EWN Business.
The oil tanker crept through. I wonder if in human history that phrase has ever been used before. Hard to imagine, but fascinating to find out. It is on The Money Show between 6 and 8. Right now, though, it is time to catch up with the very latest eyewitness news. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has been very busy today with a lot to say. This eyewitness news is brought to you by Momentum. Financial advisors help you have a better shot at generational wealth. Speak to a Momentum accredited financial advisor. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. Mbali Dlamini joins us with the latest. Good afternoon again.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the matter involving a stayed arrest warrant against crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo was handled in a messy and disappointing manner. Kachalia broke his silence on the controversy today while speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg. He revealed that neither he nor the Justice Minister had been informed about the warrant. The warrant was later put on hold by the NPA's Investigating Directorate Against Corruption action, allegedly because of Khumalo's involvement in security preparations ahead of the June 30 demonstrations. Nkosukwana Malingamnisi reports.
Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says if senior officers such as Crime Intelligence Head Dumsani Khumalo or KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi are to be arrested, he should be informed. Mkhwanazi was reportedly also the subject of an intended arrest, claims later denied by IDAC. Kachalia says he's deeply concerned by the way the saga has unfolded, especially because it involves some of the country's most senior police officials.
It was important for IDAC, if they were going to take that action, to inform me, and certainly to inform the Minister of Justice as well, or she could have informed me if they informed her. So I didn't receive that news happily, that they were about to arrest these two senior police officers.
Kachalia says while the executive should have been kept in the loop, no police officer, regardless of rank, should be shielded from accountability. The details of IDAC's case against Khumalo remain unclear. Kosi Konamalingamnisi, Eyewitness News in Johannesburg.
The DA is confident it will retain power in Cape Town while gaining control of 2 Gauteng metros during the upcoming local government elections. The DA says it's looking to take control of the Joburg and Tshwane metros, which are currently governed through coalitions led by mayors from the ANC and Action SA. The party made the vow during this weekend's voter registration drive. Babalondenze has more.
The metros of Tshwane, Joburg and Cape Town are expected to be key battlegrounds as all parties target the swing vote and the undecided. While the city of Cape Town has been under a DA majority for 2 decades, the other metros have been struggling with coalitions since the last election. DA campaign manager Asho Sarapan said their internal polling shows that an outright win is feasible in Cape Town, despite the growth of parties like Action SA and the Patriotic Alliance.
We know from our polling, marketing and market research that a majority of the citizens of Cape Town support us.
Sarapan says their campaign efforts will help the party's trajectory in 2 Gauteng metros.
In Johannesburg and Tshwane, we have identified enough unregistered voters on the ground over the last few months to lead us on a pathway to victory.
While some metros are considered ANC traditional strongholds like Buffalo City and Mangaung, the change in voter dynamics could count against the party at the November polls. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And 21 farmers have been killed in Nigeria following an attack in the country's Plateau state. Authorities say the assailants entered the village and started shooting randomly, wounding several other people. Rural areas in Plateau see recurring violence between mostly Christian farmers and semi-nomadic Muslim herders, often over dwindling land under pressure from climate change and expanding populations. According to AFP, illegal mining and accusations of land grabbing are also known to add tensions over land access. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 5 and 6 degrees and highs of between 17 and 20.
Vonderboom, Pretoria, there's about a 20-minute delay on Steve Biko Road. This is between Fred Nicholson and Lavender. Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic remains heavily backed up on Eskiam Pahlele between Vormhagen and the R18 Fairland. Heading towards Soweto, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on the N1 southbound between Beyers, Nordia and 14th Avenue.
The top story in EWN. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the matter involving a stayed arrest warrant against crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo was handled in a messy and disappointing manner.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone, so I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
There's growing anxiety about the planned demonstrations set for the 30th of June. What if things go wrong? And have the perceptions about the impact of migrants been properly tested?
The fact of the matter is we have
lots of undocumented immigrants in South Africa.
How concerned are you in terms of the loss of control by the state on this issue?
Repatriating illegal immigrants is not a solution.
We can't deport our way out of this, can we?
Absolutely not. You have to go to the root cause.
What can South Africa do?
Some significant, difficult political decisions must be made. Pressure must be brought to bear. Sanctions needs to be part of the package in order to pressurize governments.
I wonder if we haven't been complicit by having this kid glove approach. Dr. Oscar van Heerden.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
When the people of Joburg unite for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, your safety is our priority. Working closely with the South African Police Service, the JMPD, private security teams, emergency services, city wardens and other key stakeholders, there's a complete and comprehensive safety plan in place every step of the way. And there's safe park and ride to the start at Ellis Park, thanks to Gautrain and Prasa. So come along and walk the iconic inner city with us by entering on primemediaplus.com now. The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Joburg. Walk with the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care, we cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is underwritten by ANG, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, a licensed FSP.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Dr. John and the fellow listeners. So, the so-called government has got money to spend, 500 million, to protect illegal foreigners. The very same problem that they enabled, they allowed to happen by not enforcing the immigration laws of this country. They cannot create jobs. There's many graduates that are unemployed. But no, they don't have money to create jobs, but they have money to protect illegal foreigners in this country. It's very interesting, and people still think that we have a government in this country. They have money to steal and to protect foreigners, but they don't have money to create jobs.
Nah, Brajon, I don't assist anyone. I don't even offer my assistance anymore for free, because I remember the last time I did that, I damaged my friend's microwave because the cable was torn, and I said to her, no, man, I can replace this cable for you. And you know, back in the days, I used to fix electrical components and so on. So it was something that was very easy for me to do. But for some weird reason, one simple mistake that I made caused the microwave not to work anymore. And I had to buy a new one. No more.
Yeah, I must admit, I was going to fix the microwave. Then I did some reading, or when I say fix, I was going to have a little go at it. Then I did some reading, and everything I read made me realize just how underqualified I actually am. I just want to respond, though, to the thing about government has got 500 million rand to protect illegal foreigners, but they don't have money to create jobs for South Africans. I think that's very simplistic. I mean, I do think that your point about this being a problem of governments making is in large part true, although I think there are also larger regional and continental forces that have pushed people in the direction of South Africa that doesn't get the government off the hook on the things they've failed to do. But the fact of the matter is, I see it, and I'm very clear about that phrase, as I see it, is that government has a responsibility if they believe that something is looming that could lead to unrest and all the consequences of that, and July 2021 certainly comes to people's minds. They are absolutely obligated to take steps to guarantee that there's security in the country. Now, you may choose to frame it in the narrow way of saying that simply protecting illegal foreigners. I don't think that's accurate, although part of the work that they do might be protecting people who are not South Africans from certain kinds of interactions with the people who are marching. But government is spending that 500 million rand. I would have thought in making sure that is a peaceful day. And they have to do that in my mind. I don't think we should be confusing two things and saying every single rand spent on one thing is a rand that could have been spent on something else. I think in this particular instance, it doesn't particularly illuminate anything and help us to understand things. 17 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kele, very good afternoon to you once again.
Afternoon, John, and 4 Golden Boot contenders are in action this evening as the second round of group games at the FIFA World Cup continues. Lionel Messi's Argentina take on Austria. Kylian Mbappe will be looking to secure France a win over Iraq. Harry Kane will lead the line with England clash with Ghana, while Norway will look to Erling Haaland to lead from the front when they take on Senegal. Stal Salbakken says while the striker has already scored 57 goals in 51 international appearances, he can still get better.
Every player can improve. You see that even Messi at the age of 38 maybe do things now which he didn't do when he was at his peak. In terms of he has got even better routines. Every player can be better also, Ali. I think our playing style has gradually become more clearer for everyone and better as we have worked together for a few years now. There's no secret in that. There's only hard work.
The Proteas women secured a 6-wicket win over India to keep alive their hopes of a semi-final spot at the T20 World Cup. Marazan Kapp was named player of the match after taking 2 for 27 and then scoring an unbeaten 81 as South Africa clinched victory with 5 balls to spare.
Probably my best T20 innings that I've played, especially against the quality Indian attack on this specific wicket. That probably suits spinners a bit more. But we know it's always a fight against India, even though the World Cup, playing against them, that game was close as well. So in general, it's very good for women's cricket.
Former Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova has been handed a 4-year suspension which will end on June 21st, 2030 for refusing an anti-doping test. Vondrousova didn't submit a sample when notified by a doping control officer during an out-of-competition test attempt at home in December 2025. The 2023 Wimbledon champion tried to explain what happened, but claiming that months of physical and mental stress affected her decision-making, in addition to concerns for her safety. Switching over to rugby, where Rassie Erasmus has held the strength in depth in South African sport, following the Springboks' 80-31 win over the Barbarians in their season opener. 5 new players were added to the mix for that game as the coach assessed the player pool a year out from the World Cup. Additionally, Erasmus has now named a 46-man squad that features 6 uncapped players for the inaugural Nations Championship, which kicks off against England on the 4th of July.
There's so many talent and the pipeline is really great, and it's credit to SA Rugby and the structures there, because we're really getting a bunch of players at the top level. When they come into our system, it's like they're not scared. They don't sit there with big eyes and they're really calm, and I think that's a compliment. So yeah, I think it bodes well for the future, and certainly if we don't do well, we can never moan it's SA Rugby's fault or the structure's fault, probably be a coaching thing or a player thing. So I think we've got a green patch at this stage.
And Leo Cullen will leave his role as Leinster head coach at the end of next season when his contract concludes. The former Ireland second row will depart after 12 years in the position and having led Leinster to 6 league titles. He's also guided the province to a European Championship Cup success in 2018, but his side have lost 5 finals in the competition, including 4 in the past 5 years. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We had problems in the north, we had problems in the south, we've got problems in the east. Karabo Charlie.
Yeah, to be specific, Boksburg North, there's an accident seen on the N12 eastbound near Atlas Road, causing heavy delays all the way from Jet Park Road. Benoni, also slow-moving traffic on Atlas Road approaching the N12, while in Boksburg South, heading towards Brakpan, traffic heavily congested on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City due to ongoing roadworks. Fairland in this is heading towards Soweto. Traffic sluggish on the N1 southbound from Beyers Naudé to 14th Avenue. Roodepoort, we're still dealing with that accident scene on Dekker. So this is near Corlett Avenue, causing huge delays all the way from Westgate Mall. Eldorado Park, traveling towards Protea Glen, slow-moving traffic. N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Cliffspruit Valley Road in Tshwane. You can still expect about a 20-minute delay in Wonderboom on Steve Biko Road between Fred Nicholson and Lavender. Hermanstad leaving the Pretoria CBD. Traffic remains heavily backed up on Eskiam Pahlele from Vomhagen to the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Seeing the OUTsurance pointsmen on your route is like the feeling you get when you complete and submit a work project before the deadline. It just makes you feel good. The OUTsurance pointsmen are traffic heroes, easing congestion and helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we're going to finish up with some music as we do every show, apart from on a Friday when we do a song, a book and a dish. We finish with a song there, but that song is the choice of our guests. We've got a good one lined up for later this week, which I'll share with you in the days to come. But Monday to Thursday, it's an opportunity for you to pick the songs around a theme that we choose. So today we've been asking about remarkably talented people who are both actors and singers, and they may have started with the one or the other, doesn't really matter. Singers who found their way into the movies or the other way round. But we're asking for your suggestions. We're getting some good ones. But let's just give you one more taste of the song that we used to set this whole thing up. This is Lady Gaga, who I thought, apart from the singing in the movie that we're referring to, originally featuring Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand, A Star Is Born. I thought her performance acting alongside and opposite Bradley Cooper was remarkable. And then, of course, there was the singing too.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good.
By the way, I mean, speaking of actors who can sing, apparently Bradley Cooper did all his own singing in that, and I think did remarkably well. But your suggestions, please do keep them coming on 072 702 1702. We'll play as many of them as we can in just a moment.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Medicare 24 CEO Mike van Wyck's testimony at the Madlanga Commission has been postponed after his medical reports suggested that he's unwell. Van Wyck was meant to testify today about his links to alleged underworld figure Vusmuzi Kat Matlala. Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Chasko Wilson says they've agreed to proceed without him.
What the proposal is that we will use today for me to take the Commission through the evidence bundle so that the inferences that we seek to draw and the evidence that we are concerned about is clear.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, nobody comes close to Jamie Foxx when it comes to the issue of being both the singer and an actor. What an all-rounder. Mutusi and Pretoria East.
Blame it on the lose, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the tone, got you in the zone. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the She says she usually don't, but I know that she front. Cause shorty know what she want, but she don't want to seem like she's easy. I hear you saying what you won't do, but you know we're probably gonna do what you've been feeling deep inside. Don't let it out now. Girl, what you drinking? Don't let it sink in. Here for the weekend, thinking we can see what we can be if we press fast forward. Just one more round and you're down out the door. If you feel another cup up, feeling on your butt, what? You don't even care, man. I was unaware.
Blame It On Me, Jamie Foxx, who also starred in the musical drama around Ray, the story of Ray Charles, simply called Ray, and Jamie Foxx doing wonderful vocals in that as well. This comes in from Karen, who says, Vanessa Williams, singer and actor. We've picked this Vanessa Williams track for you, Karen.
Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes round the moon. I see the passion in your eyes. Sometimes it's all a big surprise. 'Cause there was a time when all I did was wish you'd tell me this was love. It's not the way I hoped or how I planned, but somehow it's enough.
Saving the best for last, Vanessa Williams, and a long career in movies as well. Let's see what else you've sent us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. Some of my favorite musical artists who have also excelled as actors include Tupac Shakur, Eddie Murphy, Queen Latifah, Mos Def, Ice Cube, and Madonna. It's Legion in Montana.
Hi, John and team. I'm immediately thinking of artists like Barbara Streisand, Anne Hathaway, and Mandy Moore, who both sing and act. Great show. Bye.
I've been there with my heart out in my hand. But what you must understand, you chance to love him pass you by. Tell him that the sun and moon rise in his eyes. Reach out to him and whisper tender words so soft and sweet.
Barbara Streisand with Celine Dion, that song called Tell Him, as we go through movie stars who've done well as singers or brilliantly, and movie singers who've found their way into the movies. Liz reminds us of one of the greatest actresses, I think, of all time, never mind recent times, Meryl Streep, doing her own singing in Mamma Mia. What else? Whitney Houston, the late Whitney Houston, who appeared in the movie The Bodyguard. That's another one. Lindy says our very own Rilebochile, indeed. Rilebochile Mabucha releasing her CD a little while, I think it was earlier this year or perhaps at the end of last, but recently, and has also been an actor as well. Nicole says J-Lo, brilliant dancer and actress, but singer? Nope, says Nicole. So we did ask you for the good ones, but hey, you're welcome to share with us the ones who you think didn't make a great success of things. John Bon Jovi has starred in various movies, and of course has had a very distinguished career in on films as well. Marek says, good afternoon, John. How about Sir Richard Harris and MacArthur Park? I don't know that one, I must be honest. Richard Harris, did he sing MacArthur Park? I'm not too sure of that. This has been 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, and the rest of the team. Hope you've enjoyed being with us. Sorry we couldn't get in more of your song choices and more of your voice notes, but we are coming to the end of the show. Lots happening in the news, lots happening in the world of business. We've got Aubrey Masango with his varied and interesting lineup with you all the way through from 8 until 12. And before that, The Money Show, including how do you sneak an oil tanker through the Straits of Hormuz? That sounds like difficult, but interesting. And we also will be hearing about how you can become an influencer if you feel so inclined to actually be an influencer. Have yourselves a great Monday. I'm John Perlman. Thanks for giving us your time. From all of us, good night.
And now, The Money Show
with Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app
and DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. T's and C's apply. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight,